Hey, what's up? It's me again. This week we got Nick, who's on before, NicktheDM on Twitch and Twitter, I think. Coming by, talking about the new Pokemon game. It was a good time, kind of getting the thoughts of that game off my chest. Not the biggest fan, so having to kind of clear my head a little bit feels good. Yeah, this is fun. Just kind of talk about Pokemon. Yeah, I guess that's really it. I got a new intro kind of thing. Peter was like, don't use the old one. Hey, that one sucks. So he made another one, but I think we're going to do another one even so. So, well, we're going to change it up for a little while. I don't know. Who knows? We'll see what happens. We'll just keep making stuff and see what happens. And then, yeah, that's about that. I listened to a full episode for the first time since I started this. And I've learned that I'm really bad at intros. Like, they're terrible. My intro for the last one with M was fucking horrible. Why is no one telling me these things? Tell me I'm terrible. That's fine. Yeah, it was so bad. I was like, what the fuck? It's awful. And I talk in circles so much. Do a lot in this episode too, trying to like cut down on that and be like, trying not to, but it's unavoidable. I'm stupid. But yeah, learned a lot actually from that, where it's like, where my sound levels are at, what I gotta do, like intros being fucking terrible. So, like this one. So without further ado, I'm just gonna stop now and just let this go and be. This is me and Nick talking about stuff, anime, video games, good times. So, enjoy.
This is your brain. And this
is your brain on top.
So, guess we'll just get into it. So, what's up? It is episode 33.
Not me.
No, to you. How you doing?
I'm doing okay.
Mm-hmm. What have you been up to?
I mean, today, mostly, like, I was a little sick this morning, and, like, snow bullshit because of all the blizzard stuff. I was up until, like, 3 in the morning because the wind was just, like, powering through, like, some of the drafty bits of my house and literally shaking it.
Oh, what a nightmare the northeast is.
Not even that north,
nightmare.
Just east.
True. So, I got you on here to talk about the new Pokemon game, but
yes,
we need to talk about the hot news that happened today, like 10 hours ago.
Today? Oh shit, what happened 10 hours ago?
Our anime strike is dead. It's fucking the best news ever. Are you familiar with anime strike?
Vaguely. That's the Amazon thing, right?
Yeah, they killed it. And things they were holding hostage, like Made in Abyss, are no longer the problem, and now they're just part of your Amazon Prime subscription.
Oh, okay. See, I thought you were going to say that they were just gone.
No, Anime Strike as the service is gone.
Right, but the stuff it was hosting isn't.
No, that was the $60 a year charge for Anime Strike is no longer, and just everything is in your $100 a month. Oh no, there's a year for Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
Which is just because I was literally just thinking like, fuck, I kind of want to use this. There's a couple things on here I want to watch. I could do like the trial thing, but like I don't really want to do that, and like it's so much money. Like,
that's awesome.
Like, why can't this just be? Yeah, it's all fucking there. So
I guess I know what I'm doing for the next couple of weeks. I guess.
And I just ran through it, and they have a whole bunch. They have like a bunch of different stuff. They have One Punch Man on there, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, Madoka Magica, a live
Spice and Wolf.
They have Spice and Wolf, Cowboy Bebop, Princess Tuto's on there, Gurren Lagann is on there. It's pretty fucking cool. They have a live action Girl Who Leapt Through Time. I have no idea what that is.
That
I was just scrolling
sounds awful.
Yeah, I was scrolling through. I was like, the fuck is this? So there's a lot of cool shit on there.
Have you seen the the animated version of that?
Yeah, I showed it to you.
Okay, great. I mean, no, I saw it on a trip to Tokyo.
Oh, okay.
The first time I ever saw it was on a flight while I was going to Japan, which is why I'm certain that's what it was. Okay. But yeah, okay, rad. Yeah, I don't really see that working all that well.
What?
As a live action.
Oh, I have no idea. It might even be a show. I have no idea. I was just kind of like screaming through, like, all right, what is on here? Like, what do I get now? And that was one of them. I was like, this is
I guess
weird.
It was all in the editing, really.
Yeah, I guess it's the core of it, the concept itself.
Yeah, like it drives a lot of it. So, okay, sorry, never mind. Yeah, just looking through this there's a lot of good stuff in here actually. So
there's a ton of nice stuff. And even if some of it is like on Crunchyroll or on Netflix, if you don't have that service, most people who are like adults, like order shit on Amazon, they now have a lot of the same stuff now, which I think is pretty fucking cool.
And honestly, Amazon Prime it's just upping its value proposition constantly.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Because like if it can compete with Crunchyroll, and I don't know if it can because I haven't actually really looked through its offerings there, but if it gets to that point, that's whatever Crunchyroll charges per month. Then you also get the $5 to Twitch a month. Like, it's pretty much just wrapping all of these services into a bigger and bigger package. And at some point, it'll just be cheaper to get just Amazon Prime than whatever composite things you're getting in other places.
No, yeah, it's fucking sick. And like the actual Amazon Video service is amazing. Yeah. Like, I was just looking through. I was like, oh my god, there's so much stuff here. So much stuff I didn't know I had.
I've been meaning to watch Kingsglaive, and that's something I could just like rent for like $3 and watch. I love
their rent. Yeah, their renting service is so cool. We're just like, oh, I want to watch this once and never again. All right, I'll do this. It's amazing. Yeah, I actually own Kingsglaive on Blu-ray or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, it came with the special edition of the game or whatever, right?
No, I don't own the special edition. I bought that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because I bought the special edition of Kingsglaive, where it's like it has the anime as well. It has Brotherhood and or is it Brotherhood? Whatever the fucking anime of each. There's 4 episodes of each of the four the kids, whatever that is. It has that as well as the movie itself.
Pretty neat.
And I was like, oh, I'm gonna totally get into this, and like it kind of helped, but not really. It kind of just all that really does is like it kind of help you understand like the context. Core of like the context for like the royal family's like magic system. Like that's the only thing I really like took away. I was like, oh, okay,
gotcha.
Now it's more defined now. All right, because like you can generally understand what's going on, but like it kind of makes it a little more clear. Is like the reason people can do things is because of this. Like, all right, that sounds good. Like magic's not a thing, but the royal family can do magic, so like he grants it to the 4 of them or whatever.
That's what I really like. One of my favorite little things about Final Fantasy 15 is that like potions at shops aren't really a thing, but there is a brand of energy drink called Potion. His powers turn into healing.
Yeah. The fucking that game is so good. Yeah. A little easy with items though. The only thing that's really tough is the one dungeon. If you buy high elixirs, you can't lose. You actually cannot.
It does not seem like a particularly challenging game. I don't think I've ever gotten a game over so far, but like.
Yeah, I never did. The only time I came close was in one of the post game dungeons, where like like the doors at the end of dungeons.
Yeah.
Or whatever. Yeah. So like after you beat it, you can go and get the key to those, and then you can go into those, and one of them restricts you from using items, and is like, it's like it's closer to like a Persona dungeon where you just like scale down like 10 floors and you can take a break and so like each break is like, oh thank God we can finally rest, we can finally heal up and stuff like this. So you camp out, heal, go down another 10 floors, rebuff up and stuff like that. And it was really fucking cool. It was like the coolest part of that game. But cool. Otherwise it's like impossible to die. There was one thing I was trying to do.
That would really make the magic a lot more useful because like one of the things is like
you can heal with them.
Yeah, healing magic.
Yeah, it's super cool. Yeah, it was like the best part of that game. I kind of wish the whole game was like that, and it was like more about like planning ahead and trying to figure out what you needed and like stuff like that. Making sure you hit your dodges and stuff. I thought that was pretty cool.
Personally, I'm in it just to go on a road trip with the boys. But like I could see a different game that I would be all in on with that sort of mechanic.
I just kind of wish there was more of that. Like, I wish all the bonus dungeons were like that or something, or not just the one. Like, I wish there was a few more things where I could have because it was a really fun reevaluation of how you played. Because it was just like every time you dodged or did whatever that delayed dodge ability was, where if you got hit, you could dodge again and shed the damage, whatever that was called. Like actually making each one of those very useful. And when you fucked up, like, God damn, hang on, I got to figure this out now. And like trying to wage out your health and like the little like gray health bar that could kind of heal back up and stuff, being like, all right, let me hold back or make sure I don't make sure I parry this, make sure I dodge this well, because I don't want to I'm not going to lose all this health. It was a way more like tactical way of fighting in that system.
I have been enjoying that with Persona so far. It kind of caught me off guard because I'd never played a Persona game before. So that first dungeon, I expected to complete it the first time through. And then I'm like 4 safe zones in and I'm like, holy shit, this place is kicking the shit out of me. I am out of everything. and I don't know how to proceed. And so that was an interesting wake-up call. So I do look forward to, like, the whole, like, being prepared, making sure you have all your items, thinking about, like, what sort of enemies are there and how you need to deal with them. Like, if, for magic. I don't know how much you're able to, affect what kind of stuff your party has, but, like, you would definitely want to make sure, like, oh, there's a lot of dudes here that are weak to wind. Better make sure that I have a wind spell on my main guy.
Yeah, that's pretty much what you're going to want to do is like depending on whoever you choose as your final four, making Akira be the one who
Fails.
like covers all the bases, so as long as you have stuff. And like it's just pretty cool, like having to think like, all right, we got to go X amount of floors, let's use a lot of physical attacks. Okay, like in my situation, like An was never in my main party, but she can still heal when we're outside of battle. So I would use a whole bunch of physical spells maybe for like a couple floors, then An would heal us up, and then we could keep going. So I wasn't using my main party's SP pool, but could still like be more aggressive in certain fights. That's
interesting. I haven't I haven't gotten a fifth member yet, so I don't really know what the mechanics are for that.
Yeah, that's what they are in all the other ones, where you can kind of everyone can kind of
play the other ones.
Yeah,
in Persona 1, when you swap out a party member, you might not ever get them back.
Yeah. Persona 1 and 2 are drastically different. Unfortunately, the thing with Persona 2 is there's no... Because it's 2 games. What is it? The first one of the second game got a retranslation, and like it's more accurate to like the source, because they translated it more in line of like a North American thing, so they changed it to be taking place in America, changed character names, what the characters look like in the original PS1 release for North America.
Interesting.
And then they made a PSP version where they made it more accurate, and it's closer to what the actual Japan and character names, all that kind of stuff. That one didn't sell well, so the second game version for PSP never came out in the West. So we only have the one version of that game, but that's the only version of the game that it's like fucking really weird. Like there's no like
wacky.
One like version of Persona 2 where you're like, this is the official translation and official like release of all this stuff. So you can find like fan versions of everything, because like, or is it the second one came out? I forget. Like it's really weird. Like one of them, I think it's like maybe the second one only came out in PS1. The second half of the second one only came out in PS1, but then the first half is the one that came out in PSP, but the second one, it's like really weird. So like it's like kind of a nightmare to be like, I want to do this correctly, and it's like, well, you fucking can't.
Yeah, I mean, I just picked up Persona 1 on the PSP and tried to play through that, and it was a fun game, but I always just like would get to some point and be like, okay, now I need to grind for 4 hours. And just want to do that. Like, I could probably do it now on an emulator. Right, I could just like fast forward or do like a experience multiplier or something.
Yeah, you don't really have to do that for 5 or...
Yeah, it definitely doesn't feel like that.
The only reason you're going to ever really want to grind is so like you can fuse personas.
Yeah.
Because you're like, oh, I want this one.
Getting outscaled.
Yeah,
I'm noticing that the dungeons are like slightly higher than what I'm doing with my current playstyle. So maybe I just need to fight more random mobs as I go. Yeah,
if you just kind of, it's similar to like Kingdom Hearts. As long as you just fight everything that just comes in front of you, you should be okay, more or less. Like I never really ran in this one until I was doing, like I ended up doing like min-maxy stuff at the end of the game, because I was like, I like this game, I'll just keep doing it. So I was like, there's one of the social links gives you, like bonus, like a 1 turn flee. Because like when you try to flee, they'll be like, we're going to try to find an exit for you. And then you still have to play, so whatever. So.
I've got a little weirded about that, because when they said that, I thought it just like failed.
Oh,
like, I wasn't sure what I was supposed to do after that. Like I tried another turn of doing it and they just said the same thing. And so, I pretty much spent an entire round sending everybody to try to run, and that almost got the whole team killed because I had no idea what was happening.
Yeah, that's that'll happen. And then, but like once you get like, but there's an ability later on that's like, we can get out now, and you can just run away immediately. So, I would like I'll like fuck with that, trying to get certain things to show up, and like some of the I forget what was I collecting them for? I had like, for the Thief's Tools. I was trying to make certain Thief's Tools, because I got the Platinum, and that's one of them. You can make all the Thief's Tools or whatever in your bedroom. But but like I needed like materials and like a couple floor. Like sometimes if you didn't run into certain enemies in the palaces, having to go to mementos, because mementos blocks, they're
I
like,
don't know what that is yet.
oh, okay, there's a thing later where like it's like if you need to go get something from like if you want an enemy or whatever, they show up in another place later. So like,
oh, that's cool. I was a little worried about that.
Yeah, so if you feel like you missed something, there's a place where you can kind of still go back. It takes longer, and it's like a little more annoying, but like, yeah. Because the thing is weird about this one is in like 3 and 4, you're never locked out of old content. You can always go back to dungeons, or in 3's case, the different floors. For some reason, they delete them in this one, but there's a place that kind of replaces that concept, where it's like, okay, I can still go back and get stuff that I missed or want to go do or whatever. So, that's kind of the workaround for that. So like, there's no like really missable thing. I was telling you that earlier. There's no missable like thing. So don't ever worry about like, oh my god, I don't know what to do. Like as long as you just kind of once you get the groove going, you kind of know like, oh, I want to talk to this person. I want to hang out with this person. I want to like just then you learn your priorities of who you like want to talk to and like what stats you need to work on. You'll generally just start to move along. Whereas in like 3 and 4, especially 3, it's so easy to just be like, oh well, that's fucked. There's no way I can do this now. All right, cool. Let's just move on.
I'm still kind of finding my feet about like what gives what stats, what options of things to do I have, who is the various social links, like that kind of stuff. Like I'm sure it'll come with time, but I'm just hoping I figure it out fast enough that I don't miss out on something.
Yeah, the first like maybe 2 or 3 hours as they introduce that stuff to you, you're gonna be like, "What the fuck? Oh my god!" Like it's gonna be like overwhelming, but eventually it's gonna.
When it was being introduced, it was fine, but now it's like I have these options of places to go, but I can't go to all of them right now because like you only have so much time.
That's
and I'm worried
that
one that I put off is like that I haven't been to yet might be something that I want to be doing all the time.
Oh yeah, no, that's what I mean. Like once they give you everything like a lot at once, and you're just gonna try to figure out what to prioritize.
Okay.
But yeah, as
Sorry,
long as
I thought it was past that part because I have beat the first palace.
No, like they introduce stuff throughout, but like you're just gonna take you a second to just figure out exactly like where you want to spend your time and stuff. And like I was telling you today, like read books and stuff like that to hit certain stats and whatever. Stuff like that, and like whatever you're trying to do. Books are generally the books are probably the best way to do stuff. There's a trophy for like reading all the books, so like there's like a limit to how many you can do or whatever. But generally speaking, it's just like they're probably the easiest way to just get certain social stats along with other things. The apparently I don't know like statistically, but like what I always have read is the absolute best way to get stats is going to the burger place and doing like the burger challenge. And there's like 3 or 4 burger challenges, but there's only a few of them. But I guess like even if you fail, I think you get like a big boost to certain things. I think it's in guts, particularly if you fail. But I know if you pass, you get like a boost to everything. Because it's similar to like in 4 there was a like an eating challenge where you needed to have like pretty much max everything to complete it. So it was like, oh, you need fucking the courage to sit down and eat this, the knowledge to know how to manage your time, and it does like that. But there's like it goes on a smaller scale for the burger one, so you can attempt it a few times and like get the varying sizes of burger or whatever. But that's like a good way to like get guts and stuff. And then like certain social links will also just give you stats. I think death just gives you guts for like just showing up and like
but you also need to have a threshold of it to proceed, which was what
yeah, there's going to be a few of them.
This start, because like I went to go do that, just like to see, like in between the end of the last stream and when I'm going to start on Sunday. Like I was like, what do I have? Whatever I need for this, and it said that I need more guts. I'm like, oh, okay, that's interesting.
I think it's level 2. I think.
Yeah, no, it wasn't a big deal, but
you'll need if you want to do like every social link. I don't think you're going to be able to do it in your first try, just because one, you're not familiar
blind,
yeah, so it's gonna be a little tough. You can totally do it.
I looked into what would be involved, just because like I was curious, and it is pretty much plotted out day by day.
Yeah, you have to do exactly that. It's you can fucking fly by the seat of your pants if you do it in like a new game plus. Like I did every social link in my new game plus because like what the fuck ever, but I also had less to do. Because I like max social stats going into the game, so like you can pass certain thresholds. But like
you start with some of your abilities, right?
Anyone you complete, and then on you get an item from them later on near the end of the game. And if you have that item in your key item slot, when you start the new game, you keep the abilities.
Gotcha. So then the one that gives you, I know that there is an ability that gives you like an extra slot to do things in.
Kind of, yeah.
I don't need the details, but like that seems like it would be really, really useful.
It's the literal best ability in any Persona game. It's unbelievable. But yeah, if you don't talk to the people to get the item, then you don't keep the abilities.
Gotcha.
So like you can, but whatever. So, but New Game Plus is like the easy way to do every social link, but like you'll still run out of stuff. Like I think I had like a month or something of just like I have nothing else to do. Like I was just like I'd finished everything. I was like, all right, well, guess I'll just do this. Yeah, it's a really good game. It's a really fucking good game. I want to say it's like November 22nd is like the biggest span of free time you have. So if you want to remember that
should be near the end, right?
Yeah, it's near the end, near-ish the end, but like it's like the last like long stretch of like free time if you just want to like try different things or like work on social links or whatever. Like there's a huge
because in my head I did a little bit of math and they were talking about how like in that scene that you're flashing back from, they said that like something took place 6 months ago, and I'm like, oh hey, that's the start of this, so I guess it happens in November.
Yeah, there's
you start in April.
Yeah. All Persona games are generally speaking a year. They never give you a full year though. They always like right around Christmas. They usually skip ahead. I don't know why. They've like always done this, for varying reasons. I don't know why. Like a lot of and like they always have like a Christmas scene and like there's like at least in this game they give you like more of a tangible reason for like just skip a bunch of time. But like in Persona 4, you're just like I'm just gonna hang out for like 4 months. Like I could work on social links right now. Like what are we doing? Like why am I waiting until March? Yeah, so it's kind of weird.
Because in my head it was ending in November.
No, they all generally
I thought that was. I don't know. Never mind. I had assumed that where the flashback was from was at the end of the game.
I mean, it technically kind of is, but it's also, I mean, it's a frame story, so like it's gonna have like it. That's just kind of what like it's all like a flashback, I guess, and then you. Whatever. It's fucking the best. Just it does so many cool things. All the systems work so well together. What a video game. Goddamn. So good. I'm glad you're enjoying it though. That's pretty cool.
I know, it's been a blast.
Yeah.
Probably what I'm going to be doing all day on Sunday.
Yeah, there are several days where I'm like, hey, this is what I do for 6 hours. This is where I'll be. so many cool little dungeons and stuff and cool little fucking just so well done. It's what do you call it? Basically, what Persona has always been building up to, and is now just this fucking. It's learned from its mistakes, I guess. Is what I'm trying to say.
I was listening to some other people do a blind run of the first couple hours, and it was really funny because they have played 3 and 4, and their take of at least the beginning of Persona 5, I have no idea if the tone changes, but their take on it was that they had pretty much looked at 3 and 4 and went, that's pretty dark. Hold my beer.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. I mean, the context of like why you got arrested and stuff is pretty heavy. So that makes sense. Yeah, I can see that being like,
and it just doesn't let up. Read. Like maybe it does eventually, but like around every corner, it was just like, this person's been physically abused. This person committed suicide. This person's like, oh my, okay, guess we're just doing this.
Yeah, that opening palace like storyline is real intense.
Yeah,
and it's like all Japanese things, it just escalates from there and in varying levels of importance, so this is like a more of a personal story, then it grows and goes in different places, stuff like that. It's pretty cool. All the characters have like cool ways they interact with each other and stuff. What a game, what a video game. 10 out of 10. I was listening to the music the other day, I was listening to a Game of the Year podcast, and then they were talking about best music, and like they brought up Persona, and I was like, fuck, dog, I'll play Persona again.
Yeah.
And I was like, I have to like not let myself have this because I want to just play this fucking game again, and I just can't. I can't be like.
Do you want to play the third time?
I literally do. Like I'm like, fuck. If I do that, should I just start over? Like, I don't even know. There's like nothing. Clean. Yeah, like there's like nothing left for me to do. Might as well just totally start over. But then at the same time, I'm like, I might as well just go like play Persona 4 and like platinum that game or something. Like, do something because I want to play. I just like Persona. Persona's the best, dude. Which I think should lead us.
Was Persona 4 released on a next-gen console?
Vita.
Okay.
I mean, Persona,
I was going to say, like, how can you platinum a game before trophies?
Yeah, they put it out. Golden is on the Vita, which unfortunately, is the Vita. I love the Vita, but like, it's the Vita, and like, there's no like. I wish, because the Vita does
You wish
things.
It wasn't region locked?
No, not necessarily that. I just
because I know it is pretty big in Japan, at least.
Yeah. My more concern is I wish what the Vita was doing, the Switch eventually perfected. Gotcha. And I wish that's where the Vita went. I wish they leaned more into that, because that would have been awesome. Because like they're like I have done it where like you download your save onto your Vita version of the game, and you walk off and play that, and like if I had like a Vita TV, I could play Persona 4 on my TV and stuff like that. And like it involves more peripherals and sometimes in some cases a second version of the game. You need the Vita version and the PS4 version, so that not all of them were cross by. So like they were close, but they weren't there yet, and the Switch was like
didn't quite make it.
Yeah, like what the Switch is, the reason I like the Switch so much, so I'm like, okay, this is doing what I wish the Vita was. Like, I love the Vita, and I like PlayStation more, and I like the games on PlayStation properties more, but it's not doing what I wish it was doing. So
yeah, I really look forward to seeing what kind of crazy stuff we get on the Switch.
Yeah, me too. I know the SMT5 or whatever the new SMT game has been announced on there. It was just like a teaser trailer, so I don't really know what exactly it is. I don't know if it's exactly 5 or they're just gonna do some weird spin-off thing. But so they're doing stuff on there. Bayonetta 1 and 2 are coming out in a month, I think February, which is cool because I've never played either of those. And that'd be cool to have. I had to buy the fucking Pro controller though. Apparently my hands are too big. I didn't realize this, but like the Joy-Cons are too tiny. And like I kept like my thumb would hit like all 4 face buttons. I was like, what is happening? And like playing Zelda like that, I was like, this is a nightmare. And like I kept hitting like there's no like the PS4 controller, there's that gap between L1 and R1 and L2 and R2.
Yeah.
It's like that. So like I put my fingers there, and that's not really a gap on the Switch.
It's not
so
a big
I
enough
just
gap to put your fingers in.
Yeah, so I just hit buttons all the time. I'm like, fuck, what the hell? So I'm like hitting buttons I don't need to hit, and it's just like it's causing a whole bunch of problems. So it's like I'm gonna buy the Pro controller, which has bigger buttons, and I don't feel like a fucking giant holding this tiny little baby toy, but it's a pretty cool system.
You mean you don't want to feel like a giant all the time, just holding baby toys?
I didn't think my hands were big. I didn't think it was a problem. Like I was listening to one of the podcasts, the guy was like, "Yeah, I'm like a big dude. I got big hands." I'm like, I've seen you in person. You're a big guy. Like you're a big tall dude. Like it makes sense." I didn't think I was a part of that, but apparently
you got
these hands.
Fingers.
Yeah, I have gigantic hands apparently. Like I was like, I can't hold the Switch. So when something like I was playing Octopath Traveler and it was fine because it's like such a slow.
Was that actually out?
The demo is. You can play 2 characters and just kind of see what it's like. And I'm kind of glad that demo exists because the system is so unique that it took me a second to be like, oh, okay, I see how this works. This is really cool. I've only played one half of it though. I haven't played the second campaign, which I might not. I don't know. I might just wait for the whole thing to come out. But like an RPG is totally fine. So like I'm looking forward to more of that stuff. So like when SMT5 or whatever this comes out, I'll probably get that and stuff like that. But yeah, Switch is fucking cool.
Or whatever the inevitable Pokemon is.
Yeah, which they've talked about it. They've said
they said it's coming.
Game Freak has said it's coming, and Game Freak has also said they feel pressure based on Mario and Zelda to do something drastically different and more in that direction, I guess.
Interesting.
So, which I guess leads into this Pokemon conversation.
It certainly was a different game.
Yeah. I guess what I'm going to say is I think Gen 7 has problems. I wish these problems would not exist, but whatever, it's fine. If what they're thinking with the Switch is to lean more into what I haven't played Mario yet, but more what Zelda's doing, what I genuinely hope they do is just kind of, I guess, how do I want to word this? Maybe have an equivalent like tutorial area like the plateau.
So you could just walk away.
But even once you do walk away, here's the region. Go get your 8 badges. Do what you feel like you need to do.
Okay.
Go in this direction, whatever. Because the cool thing about Zelda, I don't know how much you've played of it, but you just kind of like walk around. You're like, that's a thing, and you walk over. You're like, hey, there's stuff here. This is kind of cool, and you go and you do it. I kind of want that because what I've realized I really like about Pokemon, and what I'm not as big a fan of Gen 7 is the part of the game I like is when I'm done with it and I can just go off and explore and collect Pokemon and try to evolve stuff and train stuff and just do the core of it, the thing, the Pokemon Master thing. Not like, I don't really care too much to go off and learn about these different villains or whatever and go to fucking other dimensions and do whatever. Like, that is fine, but like, I'd rather just do the part, like, I talked about on one of these episodes, I think. But what I want is basically a Route 119 from Hoenn, where it's just this gigantic fucking route from, like, it's all different tall grasses, and there's all these Pokemon. You have the Weather Institute section where you can go and fucking do battle, or do like a battle with the rival team, but then you move forward. There's a rival battle on there where your rival shows up and you fight for a little bit. There's different puzzles based on which bike you have. Like, I want the game to be that, but on the entire region, where like there's like, it's probably like an hour of just, they don't do anything, they don't tell you what to do. Besides, like, the only thing that's really holding you up is the Weather Institute fight and the rival fight. Everything else you're allowed to do, fight as many trainers as you want, go anywhere, go like, whatever, solve whatever puzzles you can with what bike you have. That's the kind of thing I want the whole game to be forever. Like,
on one hand, that sounds really fun. Like, I would absolutely play that game. But like, about half of the time when I play through a Pokemon game, after the Elite Four, I just put it down. Like, that is the game for me.
Well,
so
see,
like, it's from, okay, go ahead.
No, like, I would want the game of you getting to the Elite Four to be that, and not, because my major problems with this game is, one, they stop if you're just playing. Oh my god, I hit my mic. If you're just playing and you look down at Rotom, there's always an indicator, and it's always like 10 feet from you. You are constantly interrupted by Lily or by Hao, or however you pronounce his name, or some villain or
That's
whatever.
Right.
Someone's there because they need to talk to you and they need to do something. Like every 10 feet. And it's like, I just kind of want to walk, like, I wish almost like whole islands were just like, you're now here, go to where you need to be. And like, some places are locked off based on what things you have. And that's the thing I liked about Pokemon was, you couldn't always get everywhere, but once your Pokemon learned a certain HM or something happened in the event where something would open up, now you have this ability to move past these things. Where this was kind of like, hey, you're gonna play follow the leader with the red flag on their minimap and just keep going to your thing. Excuse me.
That's probably true. I have honestly, I don't know when the last time I looked at the minimap was. Like, I don't think.
Well, here's the thing. You physically can't because Rotom doesn't shut the fuck up.
That is true. Holy
Rotom
shit.
never shuts up.
They somehow made him more chatty. Like, he was already so deeply chatty in the first game, and they made him worse.
He literally says, hey, I know you didn't ask about this, but I'm gonna tell you anyway. You're fucking right, Rotom. I didn't ask for the fucking information you're giving me. Just give me the minimap. Why are you still talking? And repeating himself. Like, I was playing last night. I cleared the post-game last night. 4 times in an hour. He was like, you should really go home and talk to your mom. I bet she misses you. I did that. She was like, I really hope Lily does well. I'm like, this is fucking useless. Why are you telling me this information? And he just doesn't stop talking. He doesn't stop talking. And I wish I could I just want a minimap half the time. Like, dude, I don't need you talking. I just need you to shut up. Oh my god.
It was so weird, because, like, for the first 3 hours of the game or whatever, I thought that the new version of Rotom was kind of neat. Because, like, in the first game, he was just there, and I don't know why.
He didn't need to be there. Like,
yeah, exactly. He didn't add anything to the game. At least with like the interactive parts of the conversation, like that you could actually talk to him, and then the fact that you can get items out of that, like that at least made him a character and a source of resources. So that's nice. So for the first 3 hours of the game, I was like, this is an improvement. And then he just doesn't shut up.
Never does.
Like it's there the whole time. And like I never used the minimap because it's just not how I play those games. But like, dear God,
well, a lot of times
it's always there.
I don't even really need to use the minimap, but occasionally I look down because he doesn't stop.
And there's a text box there.
Yeah, and it's like, what the fuck? And then I just happen to, like, I know, this game is pretty much the same in the core of it. Mostly the main game of it is very much the same as Sun and Moon, and I didn't look at the minimap in Sun and Moon. I just happened to notice in this one, because I was kind of like, why am I constantly talking to someone? Like, can they just let me go and just let me talk? And I looked down, I'm like, every time I finished talking with someone, without even like moving the minimap, I could see where the next like indicator was. I'm like, what the fuck? Like, leave me alone. Like, I don't need to keep talking to people. I just want to go forward. I want to explore the world with my Pokemon. That's my favorite thing about Pokemon. It's like the world, the concept of I'm a person with Pokemon in this world. This is so cool. But yeah, it's just like, it just doesn't stop. And like I don't like I like HMs. I don't know. I guess I'm a weirdo because I know a lot of people
That's very
don't,
weird.
but I like HMs. I really like the idea that my Pokemon are helping me on my journey.
That's fair. But it's the part that then becomes necessary of having these kind of shitty, unremovable moves.
I guess. I mean, some of them are okay.
Yeah,
Surf
strength
and fly
is
are
fine,
fine.
surf is
Strength's
fine, fly is
yeah.
fine. But, like...
Those are the core ones, I would think.
That's true, but, like, if you ever find a rock you need to smash, someone on your team needs to know Rock Smash. And yeah, that became a TM in later games, but, like, Cut, for example.
There are some that suck. I'm not going to say all of them are great, but, like...
It was just because since that became a staple, like, it pretty much meant that your pool of your 24 moves got dwindled by about 5, usually.
I guess. Like, I never had Cut on a main Pokemon on my team. I never had...
It depends where you are.
Rock Smash. I never had... I would have a second Pokemon in my PC that had Cut. And if I came to a place where I needed it to progress, like to go to Dark Cave, for example, I go and get it, and I open the thing, and I put it back. Or whatever. I keep them for that one stretch, and I put it back.
So then
whatever.
it's 3 instead of 5.
But I like those 3.
It's still a sizable amount of your moves that are just locked down. It doesn't matter what you're trying to do. Those 3 are the same.
Well, like, I always thought I would never want Fly, for example, because I don't like the 2-turn thing. But I use Fly in this game. Like, my Crobat use Fly. Because there's really not that many good...
Move. Yeah.
It's fine, and there's not many
Probably
strong...
better than Wing Attack.
It is, by like a lot. You know, it's 90, I think 90 base power, Wing Attack's
like
65. I think 75, 70, 65, something like that. It's not great. It's okay. So I was like, all right, well, I just need the thing. And then with Z moves, the way at least the way I remember them working, I could be wrong.
It's based off of their base power.
Off the base power. Yeah. Okay, that's what I thought. Yeah. So I was like, all right, well, even if I don't like Fly, like he's using the Fly gem, might as well fucking Fly Crystal, whatever. Yeah. Yeah, like I kind of thought, like, I don't mind HMs. Like, I love Surf. I think Surf's an awesome fucking move.
I also like Surf. I don't like having to have someone that has Surf. Like, if I looked at my team this time, I don't think any of my Pokemon could have learned Surf, which means that I couldn't have the team that I currently have.
I also don't have anyone that could learn Surf, but I wish I did. Because I don't, like, my team's okay. Like, surprisingly, Alakazam fucking sucks. Like, he is so bad. He's a fucking toothpick. Like, if he doesn't go first,
absolutely.
he gets broken. And not, like, broken, like, oh no, he's in red health, he's got to switch out. Like, dead.
He just dies, yeah.
He just dies.
Isn't he, like, significantly faster than most things?
Kind of. I don't know. Like, he was slow for most of it. I think mine
Alakazam
personally sucked, but, like...
that might have been it.
Like, but, like, I just, in the post-game, because you get the, you run into the 2 kids from Gen 6, the assistants or whatever, the little kids, they're, like, grown up in this one. He gives you the Alakazam, Mega Stone, and I was like, fuck the Z Crystal, just become Mega Alakazam, and, like, that actually helped him survive hits and, like, actually get even faster and stuff, so, like, he became serviceable, but, like, he was not a good pick, which I'm surprised about.
It's because... in competitive, the reason he was so good was because he was a glass cannon, but he's a really, really fast glass cannon. Like, he outsped stuff. And also, he is now 6 generations of power creep behind.
No, they actually do generally buff Pokemon. Gen to gen.
They changed them gen to gen?
They have done that, where they'll take older Pokemon and they'll buff them up and they'll change them and stuff. The only things that really have direct power creep are the legendaries, which we'll get to in a second. Yeah, I don't know. Like, he was okay. I don't really like Z crystals either. Personally, I thought, like...
That's fine.
Like, I know competitively Mega Evolutions were terrible. Everyone calm down. I know.
Yeah,
but I thought they
were cool.
I thought they were really cool for the story, and they were a lot of fun to play with. I agree that maybe not all of them... Because, like, they were... Like, some of them were unusable, and then some of them were way too good. I get it. But still... For the story,
we're not talking about balance here.
Exactly. For the story part of it, which you can't even get to that part of the game unless you play that part. It was a lot of fun to play with. Z crystals, I feel, are kind of boring. And now the reason I'm going to say that is because with the totem Pokemon, which I also don't like, because the stat bonuses they got without.
They don't have them.
No, they do. They always get a stat bonus, the aura, every single time it starts, for free.
Oh, sorry, the ones you're fighting. Yes. I was thinking totem-sized.
No, that's...
So
no,
totem Pokemon.
That's awful. It's so fucking stupid that they get this huge... For free. They don't have to use a turn to do it. They don't get a turn where they don't have it, and then it turns on the second turn or something. They get it before the battle starts. They get a stat bonus, and the later ones get all stats, not just one. That's absurd. You have that ability.
Fighting one Pokemon.
No, you don't, because they also summon one.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, like, if they're replacing gym leaders, you couldn't put one normal statted Pokemon there and have it be anywhere near the kind of challenge that a gym leader offers.
Which is why trials suck, but still, like, it's not fun. I don't think they're interesting at all, and, like, I turned the XP share off, which was a mistake because the game is so poorly balanced around that being off, which I wouldn't have known, because I turned it off in X and Y and it was fine. Like, I felt like it was serviceable. I could survive slightly. It was harder, which is what I was looking for, but it wasn't unplayable. Like, the final 2 challenges were unbeatable with my team. I had to grind, 20 levels or something to just beat the dragon, which I thought was fine, because the reason he was tough is because he had Drain Punch, and I was like, oh, that's a neat, change to him. I should go and, figure this out. So I'd, grind up and, figure stuff out, make sure that my Crobat was fast enough to, hit him hard enough and then survive a hit and stuff like that. So, that was cool. And then Ultra Necrozma showed up, and I'm like, this is fucking horseshit. What is this fucking Pokemon? He's like a fucking demigod. Like, why does he also get a stat bonus?
I kind of love that, to be honest.
No, fucking Mega Rayquaza was terrifying, but he didn't get a fucking all stat bonus. And you fought him in space. Mega Rayquaza was awesome, and is still the best Pokemon ever, but, what the fuck was this Ultra Necrozma? I think that's what it's called. Yeah. What is this thing? It's nonsense.
I don't know. I've never really found that a legendary Pokemon feel all that legendary. And that one did. That one felt like a menace. But anyway, what I was saying about backing up for the XP share thing, with X and Y, it wasn't designed. I think that was the one that was designed poorly, because it had this thing that they gave you that was defaulted to on, that if you left it on, the game just became ridiculously easy. And if you turn it off, it's like an okay balanced game. Then with Sun and Moon, or especially with Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon, it's actually designed for having it on. And you have the option to turn it off and play in functionally hard mode. But, if you don't, then playing through that way, you keep on pace with the rest of the game.
But, you don't, every other Pokemon game, you don't,
yes.
You can keep on pace without it. Why is it there?
Because, they just changed how it's designed.
But, why?
I feel like that's because
you don't
lets you replace
every other
Pokemon
game,
on your team easier and faster.
But every other Pokemon game, as long as you just train one Pokemon in a row, of all 6, if you train 6 Pokemon and this Pokemon's his turn, now it's this guy's turn, now it's this Pokemon's turn, you can also keep on track. And then you're also using all of your Pokemon on a consistent basis. Everyone's pretty much even. You're then you get to a gym leader or some kind of bigger story-based fight, and then you have to start thinking, okay, how do my Pokemon work together? This is the same thing, but if you time it well or something, so certain things are going on, you don't even use certain Pokemon. Because I ended up turning it back on for the post game, because I'm I don't want to fucking play this for any excessive amount of time. And I outleveled everyone. I was ahead of everything, and then some Pokemon I never even had to level up again, because they would level up while I was working on some other Pokemon. I don't think the XP share is a good design. I think it's a good design if you're trying to EV train and stuff. I think that's a good decision. But
okay, that's fair if you're doing that for the post game. But even then, it's linked for your entire team, so EV training would be really weird unless you're getting all 6 Pokemon trained for the same stat.
Well, you're not necessarily training for 6 Pokemon, but you can have a level 1 Pokemon and then take your 100 and go to the Pokemon that you're trying to EV train off of, and then they get the stats. That's kind of what you...
Right. But
or if you have to train 2 people...
If you're going to say for... Attack. Yeah, sure. I guess if you actually have your 3 people, then you're totally right that is the best way to do it with the new system. But I feel like the old XP share was probably better specifically for EV training, because it's I want this guy to have the stats.
Well, no, because then you can also give them the power item, and then they have their Pokéris, and then they don't have to be a high level, and then you can go and fight.
Okay, so I guess it's technically twice as fast.
So it's generally better. But for the core game part of it, I think it's kind of annoying. I don't like it. I don't like the fact that me choosing not to just made it I might as well turn it on anyway. This is kind of
I legitimately think that what the way I'm interpreting this, and I don't know if it's completely off base, but like I'm mostly just hearing that you put it on hard mode and you're mad it was hard mode.
No,
Because,
I'm mad
like,
that it like, I just didn't like the way, I don't like the way that like it was designed. Like I like the way that it was hard mode in X and Y, and then I don't like the fact that like, I don't like how much of it was like designed towards you. Like it was leaning too much in the design of like, well, you'll probably have this on. Like I'd rather them just not have it. Like I don't understand like why it's there.
It's not for you. Like I legitimately think that that's there for the people who are just like playing the game casually and switching out their Pokemon as they go. Like
that's what I do. Like
okay.
I don't see how I'm doing that is different than this. It's just this one thing I think was done poorly. Like I switch out my Pokemon. I try to use everyone. I enjoy using everyone. I do this. I just don't see why this change from even Gen 6. I don't understand why they have this change from like the other ones. I feel like it's if it's generally doing the same thing anyway, like what is the point of adding this feature besides just having more Pokemon level up at once?
Was Gen 6 X and Y?
Yeah.
Sorry, I blank on the numbers sometimes. I legitimately think that like in Gen 6, it was not well implemented because if you had it on, it became literally like it was way, way too easy.
And that's the same case in this one too, though.
No, it becomes a normal game. Did you play this one with the XP share on?
I played the latter half with it on, yeah.
Right, but the latter half is after the game ended. You're saying you played the post game.
I turned it on at the Dragon Challenge, and then I just never turned it off.
Okay, so the last, like, maybe a quarter?
I still ended up 5 levels higher than everything. Like, I don't understand how your argument is that this is not, like, you're still out-leveling things.
Don't you also have, like, a really well-tuned team? Like, isn't your team, for example, covering all your weaknesses?
No, my team had a glaring weakness to fighting.
Okay, fair enough.
Like, I had, like, my team, the only reason there's a Trevenant and an Alakazam on that team is because my Lycanroc, Lopunny, and Incineroar were just dead to fighting. And Crobat too. I also had Crobat. So I had 3 Pokemon to cover 1 weakness. Like, I did not have a well-balanced team, no. I usually do when there's HMs involved because I plan around it. I'm like, okay, I want to have like a water Pokemon or a flying Pokemon. Whatever my starter is, and I'll work around that backwards or whatever. I'll work backwards towards that. But like, I don't think this game was particularly, I don't think the XP share particularly adds or does anything special for this one.
That's fair. Like, I don't know if it actually does need to be there, but like, it is designed around having it on. Like, it is definitely, like, if I had it off, it would have been unplayably difficult. Like, I had my own, I was adding my own challenge to it by playing an all-dark team.
Mm-hmm.
But, like, it would have went from, like, because I was still having, like, trouble. Not, like, I only, like, wiped, like, twice, but, like, the game was challenging all the way through as compared, and so I'd imagine if someone either didn't have as good of an understanding of the game because they're 10, or, was just, like, putting any other increment on it, like doing this by accident, then they would also be, like, decently challenged as compared to if I was doing something like that or of that caliber and then turned off the XP share. It would get to the point where, like, I either would need to spend tons of time grinding to, like, get everybody up, or it would be, like, I mean, that is really what would happen because I'd have to do roughly 3 times as many battles.
I mean, like, I had to only grind really for alternate Crosmo. Like, I worked around my team, grinded a little bit just to try to just eke out a few extra stat points for the I don't remember what the fuck the dragon thing is called. Konamu or whatever. So, like, that was the thing, but, like, alternate Crosmo was, like, he didn't also need, like, the stat boost and, like, all this other stuff, and, like, it's just, like, this whole thing gets avoided if trials aren't a thing. Because I don't like trials. I don't feel like I'm like a cool badass Pokemon trainer or like earning this title or anything because I get that like Aloha is supposed to be like this nature region. They reach with nature and their Pokemon are different because they call for help and all that kind of stuff. But like, I like the structure of a gym battle. Like they have the one gym in this game and that was fucking awesome. Like it was just cool to see. And it was just fun to kind of like work around it.
I thought it was really funny because like
I loved it. Yeah,
it was functionally a joke, but I love it.
No, it was great. It was they literally were like, "This is a tour attraction." I'm like, this speaks to me. But yeah, like it was, there was, I don't know, it was mildly annoying. I don't like trials. I just like that's what it is. I don't like the fact that there is a single Pokemon, so they have to boost their stats is stupid. And like even if you know what, I wouldn't even have a problem with the stat boost if it was the end of their turn, the start of the second turn, because then at least I could use Rotom boost without killing my Pokemon, which is the one thing I thought was kind of cool when I first started playing, having even though Rotom never shuts the fuck up, at least you tap him and he'll give you a neat item. Exactly. And so some of the items were very cool. Rotom boost being the best one, and the friendship one actually is pretty cool, because I had a couple Pokemon this time around that evolved with friendship, which I didn't really plan for. It just kind of happened that way. I didn't know Lopunny evolved with friendship. I didn't actually, which was weird. And Crobat as well. So like that was cool to have like this thing where I could like, there were different ways to work with that, but I don't like the fact that like, I don't like the way that was like, oh, okay, well, yeah, I can use this, but like I'm still like I'm at a disadvantage still, and like I still want to take the time to like heal, and like even it's like I'd rather it been like, I don't know, more even with the two things. I don't know. I think gym battles is cooler. I like the idea that you're fighting someone. Their music is always really cool. I didn't think that the music in this game, aside from the post game stuff, which they do some really fucking cool stuff. I don't know how much of the post game you want me to get into, but
I'd rather you didn't at all, because I haven't played any of it. And intentionally, because I'm comparing this. My original intention for this discussion was just it versus the original version of it.
Right. I mean, I
we haven't really gotten into.
Like, I played the post game for that one too. I think this post game was just it's shorter, but it's more interesting.
So I didn't play either post game, so I'm trying to like lock down my own like set of like what I know about each of them.
Yeah, I think this one is slightly better than Sun and Moon, but I just think generally speaking, Gen 7 is not exactly what I want.
That's fair. Ultra Moon is my second favorite Pokemon game ever, after Black 2.
Interesting.
It just did so many things interestingly and in a way that I really, really appreciate. Because here, let's go to the list. It has side quests, like just random things that you could come across that like were actually like talking to people did more than just give you an item or have them tell you something. Like, there was a kid in the Battle Royale town who, is all like, oh, I'm sort of a wimp. You should tell me tales of bravery. And like just coming back and he was pretty much the achievement guy from Final Fantasy XIV. And I really appreciated that. Just like going back and being like, oh, hey, look, I did something worth of note. There was the Ditto 5.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, that was awesome. And also it's a way to get you 5 Dittos with a perfect IV, apparently.
No, is it? That's cool.
Yeah.
I just have a bunch of those from time playing, I guess. But
oh yeah, I mean you've played long enough and it's not a thing. But like it's neat that it's in the game.
Yeah, no, that's cool. No, they did do some cool things like that. Like in the post game you can find the power items for free, which I thought was really nice. Yeah. As opposed to having to go and do like the battle tower or battle tree, whatever the equivalent is of this game, and then grind it out. So I thought that was nice that they just gave it to you. If you're like, hey, if you go out of your way while you're looking around, you'll find all of these. So then when you do get to this, what the core game, not like a competitive online thing, but the core games like end challenges, you're now ready to get started on like grinding and EV training and whatever. So I thought it was cool. And Destiny Knot wasn't impossible to find this time. I forget where I found it, but I was like, oh hey, it's right here. As opposed to like, I don't think I even have it in Sun and Moon yet. Maybe I do. I don't remember. I think I'd go out of my way to find it though.
So I liked the Mantine surfing minigame, and I liked that you don't have to do it a lot. They just make you play it the once.
I thought they were going to make you do it for each one.
I was really worried it was going to be a gummy ship thing, where before every island or thing, you'd have to Mantine surf your way there.
Yeah, I totally forgot that was a feature, because I totally did think. I was like, oh shit, they're doing this for everyone, aren't they? Because I didn't really have that much fun with it, but I do know
it's
apparently
it's
if you complete it, you get some cool stuff, I guess.
Yeah, you get a surfing Pikachu.
Yeah, which is pretty cool. But like otherwise, like I didn't actually. I totally forgot that was a thing. I did like the sticker thing.
It doesn't add a ton, but it's there. I love the stickers. I love the concept of the totem-sized Pokemon. I am really kind of mad that you can own that the ones they give you are the only ones that can be that size.
And they're region locked, or not region, game locked.
That's fine. I have no issue with that because it's just the way that the games work sometimes. They're functionally like bonus legendaries at that point. But, like, the fact that you can't, like, breed that trait onto another one, like, that's kind of disappointing. I have the same issue with the Dusk Lycanroc, which is the stupidest thing that they did.
Oh, really? I actually liked him a lot.
Oh, no. I love the thing that they made. Dusk Lycanroc looks cool. The fact that it is, one, at an incredibly narrow time frame, and
that
two,
is really weird.
Only the one that you download. Like, you can't do it with a random Rockruff.
Well, it's just a Rockruff with own tempo. Does he not transfer that if you breed that one?
I will check, but it might just be the hidden ability. That might be the case.
Well,
that I'm not nearly as mad.
It's not. I don't know if it's a hidden ability, but like he had. I don't know if it counts as a hidden ability, but he is an own tempo one, and as long as they've own tempo and then evolve within that absurd just 1 hour window, which I do agree is pretty way too tight, but then he evolves that way. But yeah, I just used that one.
So it's not a normal ability on it anywhere.
Okay.
Like, I could check what's like Rockruff. Okay, wait. Okay, so it says that the way it's listed here is Keen Eye or Vital Spirit are its normal abilities. Steadfast is its hidden ability. Own Tempo, it just has Event listed. Like, I have no idea if it's possible to pass that on or not.
At one point, you could pass on abilities. Was it the Mother, I think? Then they changed that. That was Gen 5, and it was way too hard, but I think they changed it. I think anyone can pass on abilities now, I think. There's a reason hidden abilities aren't as hard to find anymore, or dream abilities, whatever they fucking called them originally.
Right.
There is a way to like.
It's not even that.
It. No, I don't. It's not. I don't think. I haven't done any like extensive breeding in Gen 7 because I don't enjoy like we're running around in that game. But I'm pretty sure they changed the nature thing or not nature ability. I think you can pass on abilities now too. If I'm not mistaken. Because I don't think it's totally impossible to do stuff like that. But, I mean, generally speaking, I thought Day Lycanroc was better anyway, because you got the rock priority move. It was basically rock quick attack, which I thought was like it was just nicer to have.
Yeah.
Because he's kind of slow, but like he's not super slow, and then here's a way for him to just kind of clear some damage or like clean up, clean up attacks and stuff like that. I thought that was nice. He just gets Thrash, which is fine. It's a fine ability. It's really nice when you first get it too, because it's just 120 base power. He just liquefies everything. His Z Crystal was also really cool. I like that a lot.
Yeah, no, I saw that in our company showdown before Christmas. Someone brought that in on me, and I hadn't seen that move yet. It's just like, holy shit, what?
Yeah, it's really cool. I wish, and I guess maybe this is a 3DS problem, but the special Z Crystal moves, they lag a lot. And I don't like that. Like if you ever use like Incineroars, Incineroar kind of just sits there staring at your screen for an extra like second, like it hangs for a second, as opposed to using any of the other normal ones. Or as soon as you finish your the character's little animation finishes, the attack starts. But like Lycanrocs and Incineroars, I noticed, were both like they always take an extra second to like load in because they have a unique like battle arena thing or whatever. But actually, the grass one seems super slow too. But I don't know if that's just to be like, and the rock one too. They both seem kind of slow, but I don't know if that's because like, it's like a giant rock or like this big field or whatever. And it's just kind of being like dramatic. I don't know, because like the attack starts, but the attack in those two, the Lycanroc and Incineroar ones, they take a second to start up and then run at normal speed.
There were definitely some performance issues, but like I don't really take that as a knock against the game.
I do, because it still chugs in double battles, which I think is crazy.
Yeah,
like that should be fixed, I think. And like I know you don't really care about competitive, but like the fact that it's their main competitive mode and it still like lags during it seems really weird to me. Like why would you not work around that and like make sure that at least works to some extent? But not even doubles, because it even lags in totem battles a little bit, where it's kind of like framing. And it's like, come on, like this is your main, like the big fancy moment. Like why is this so like stuttery? Like what are you doing? As long as it's showing the full, like when it does that pan around the arena and stuff like that, while you're choosing your move, at least it lags. Once you input the move and it's just focusing on one Pokemon, the one Pokemon's on screen at a time, then it runs at normal speed. But it just seems kind of weird that it's like these are big moments.
that does remind me, just because train of thought. The reason that I kind of like the totem battle stuff, and like it's fine for what it does. I do prefer gym battles, like generally speaking, but I do like the idea, like the mechanic of being able to fight a super Pokemon, especially for legendaries. Because the legendaries have always just felt like, well, this is a pretty decent Pokemon, and the only real challenge from fighting them has come from having to catch them, which means that you have to, like, pretty much have your Pokemon sit there turn after turn after turn, just taking hits.
Yeah, I guess.
So,
I mean, they did, I forget if Ultra Beasts, they all have like a...
Yeah, Ultra Beasts have an aura. Yeah.
I think they do. They start with a stat boost, I think.
And I like that a lot.
I think that's cool. I don't like Ultra Beast designs, except for the new ones. I like the new ones a lot. But I never liked the original ones that much.
That's fair. But the point I was getting to was that this has opened up some other things that could go on. For example, if we do get that Gen 4 remake, even if we don't have anything like any other totem Pokemon stuff in it, like anything that would normally use the aura, if they put a fight with Arceus in it, I want him to have an aura. Just have that kick on.
There are definitely some Pokemon I think would work.
Cool.
Yeah, I think that would be pretty cool. For some Pokemon, that would be pretty cool. And I hope they do that eventually. They do some kind of...
because it puts that gap that you feel like there should be between, like, a really strong Pokemon and a legendary Pokemon.
Yeah,
like, a Salamence should... A one-on-one with a legendary should have no shot.
I don't know about no shot. I don't agree with that.
No, I mean, like, he should do the hits. He should, like, put it down to low or whatever. But, like, I legitimately think that you should not be able to beat a legendary with one Pokemon.
I don't know. With the fiction they try to build you up on, I think it's totally reasonable. Because, like, they always talk about how fucking wonderful you are and how much of a big dick trainer you are.
Yes.
So I think it makes... If they were trying to do it more where you're just a normal guy and then, oh my god, you also happen to be winning fights, then I agree with you. If basically you're playing as Ash and you're not playing as the fucking second coming of Pokemon Christ, then yeah, I think it would make more sense, but you're apparently fucking God's gift to Pokemon world, so I don't really... I think it's fine that you beat a legendary in one shot, and I don't think that's the worst thing ever.
Right, but it breaks my interpretation of the fiction generally. Is just that these legendaries are, legendary. Like, Groudon made fucking continents.
I agree that, like, it's... I mean, again, I guess this is a children's game, so complaining too... As much complaining as I'm doing, I guess it doesn't really matter. It's not for me. But I agree. Like, these games do not do... They don't make the fiction that I wish they did. I agree. Like, when it comes to certain aspects of it, I feel like Pokemon has struggled in it a few times, and like the last time I truly was like, holy shit, Pokemon, man, like, look, and this is crazy, is Heart Gold and Soul Silver going afterwards and just hunting down the legendaries, because they put like a whole bunch in that game or whatever. And it didn't do the bullshit they did in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, where like, they were just floating around in the sky. I'm like, all right, whatever. So like that was really annoying, but it was like they were literally in the world somewhere and you had to go find them and like go down these huge caves or walk through these whole systems and like find them. And they were just there sleeping places, and I was like, this is awesome. And I was like actually hunting them, and like the dogs were running around. I got to hunt them, and then like so we can go do the thing. Like that was the best moment in any Pokemon game I've ever played, just because like they felt like they were these giant like fucking creatures that were just there, and then you could just go and find them. Gen 4 similar to the other not just Gen 4, I guess Gen 4 in general is what I'm saying, did that, because they also had some of that with Diamond and Pearl with like Regigigas and stuff, where like you had to like go out of your way and go find this thing, and like it's just like Regigigas was cool because he didn't turn on until you had the other Regis in your party, so you could go and find him and talk to him, and he was just like just a big statue, and you had your other Regis in your party, and he'd wake up and like, holy shit, and you had to like do stuff with him, and like stuff like that was like really, really cool. So like if they eventually do a Diamond and Pearl remake, I would look forward to it, and I hope they
like the reason that I like this game so much is just because they make the world feel a little bit more like a world, which is what that is to your extent. Like I like that they took the type of thing that was, which was this like living, breathing environment, and kind of spread that out. Like all the extra Pokemon on the overworld.
Oh, yeah.
that are just around. Like, I really, really enjoy that. Like, they didn't need to have those birds flying around that you could just see and, like, going over routes and stuff. They didn't have any impact on the game.
They had it in Gen 5, though.
What?
They had that in Gen 5. In black and white, that was in there. If you walked over on the bridges, there were birds that would fly, and there were Pokemon that were like...
Wait, but they'd attack you.
Yeah.
That's not what I'm talking about.
They attack you in this one, too.
No,
you mean
the
ambient Pokemon? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, just like the Pokemon that are just around. Like when you get to the first little showdown with Hao in the town, like at the festival or whatever. Yeah. There's just a guy walking through town with his Executor.
Yeah.
Because that's what would be happening, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah, like I mean that's cool because like this game has just stuff going on in the background, not as much as I'd hoped. Sometimes when you're in a building, it's pretty much just the building background, which is a white room with a like a.
Oh, you're talking about during battle?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like there were like in the first Hal battle, just the first battles you have in that town. There's like more stuff in the background, which I always like. Like I wish more games were like Battle Revolution did that, where like a couple times where you're just battling, because you're in these arenas like so many times in a row, like you just be like, oh my god, there's a guy just sitting over there with his Pokemon just doing this, watching the fight, or this guy's just walking out that and just doing his thing. So I always liked that. I always thought like Battle Revolution did a cool thing where it's like you're just kind of there, and like it had your trainer. That was like the first one, your trainer showed up in battle, and like this one does that too now, which I kind of like. I do like the added feature of you can change your ball toss animation.
Yeah.
I always thought that was kind of cool.
The other thing that's really neat in this one is that they actually put a lot of thought into what Pokeball people are using.
Yeah, I did notice that. That was kind of cool.
Like the first thing that really jumped out at me was when you have your first battle with the Ultra Recon Squad or whatever.
Oh yeah, I actually did like them. Their music was really cool too.
Yeah, no, and then they threw out Poipole, which is this new Pokemon, in a Beast Ball.
Yeah.
And I was like, whoa, what?
Yeah, I mean, they did that in the... I mean, they weren't in that game, but, like, different trainers, like, veterans and stuff always had Ultra Balls. Like, they did that in the original Sun and Moon as well.
Yeah, it's a nice touch. This is just, like, the advanced version of it.
Yeah, it is pretty cool. I do like that they have that, because, like, it always feels weird for me when I catch things in non-Pokeballs, and it's because, like, I don't like the look of everything being different when I, like, throw a Pokemon out or put on the Pokemon Center, like everything kind of being kind of uniform, which I didn't have because I used the special Lycanroc. So of course I had a Cherish Ball, but Cherish Balls are whatever. They're kind of cool, I guess. They make a weird noise.
All right, so I'm going to just... Oh, okay, other thing that I fucking hated, and then I'm going to go on a quick whole shotgun of things about the stuff that I liked.
Good.
But the last thing that I fucking hated that completely broke the flow of the game was the fucking motion control segment near the end.
Oh, yeah, I was about to ask you about that. I absolutely
Holy
hate
shit.
that. And, like, I fucking kept missing it and, like, ending up in other places. And, like, I don't fucking... Why do I have to do this?
Nothing
this is so stupid.
Killed my hype so much than the run into that and then just the stupid motion controls.
Oh, yeah, it was awful. And, like, I had to turn around and, like, fucking try to grind for Necrozma, and I was like, do I have to fucking do this again? Luckily, you didn't have to, but it was just like it's fucking terrible.
From the point you get to that mountain to that, to up until that ride was sick.
Oh, yeah, it was
and then
cool.
From after that ride till the end of the game was sick. But that period was awful.
Yeah,
Holy shit, why was that a thing? Who thought that was a good idea?
I don't know. And apparently that's how you, like, shiny hunt in this game, because I was watching streams recently, and, like, why I wouldn't put myself through that. Are you shitting me? This is horrible.
You get legendaries, too, like the off-game legendaries, because
they
were talking about how they're in different dimensions or what have you.
Thank Christ I have all of them, so I never have to do that feature again. It was real bad. I really hated it.
Yeah, no, that was...
And, like, it wasn't even, like it was... I don't know, it's fucking so stupid.
It wasn't finished. Like, that felt like someone gave someone a 3DS. It's like, you have 3 weeks to make a game. And they're like,
And there was no other fucking, like, option to be like, I'm just going to use the controller. Like, with the camera thing, you can use the motion controls, but you can just turn that off and just use the actual, like, joystick.
Yeah, no, it
wasn't even an option.
Yeah.
It wasn't even an option. It was like, I have to use this. I have to fucking toss my DS up and then toss it down and then jerk it to the right. Jerk it. I'm like, this is so stupid. And it was slow and like it wasn't really responsive, or maybe I was doing it wrong. I don't know.
They took what should have been one of the coolest parts of the game and turned it into just a mess.
It was so dumb. And that's like the thing I hate about fucking Game Freak is they don't learn from their mistakes, unlike fucking Persona 5 or Persona in general. Like, they had a similar feature with the fucking Latios and Latias thing. Like, they could have just retooled that and, like, had something similar to that or whatever. You know, like, have this big fucking, like, you know, ultra space and you just flew to different portals or whatever.
Just mix Latios and Latias and Mantine surfing and you have what they're trying to do without the shitty controls.
Yeah, like, they could have done... Like, they always have, like, a neat feature, and then that neat feature never carries into the next game. And I think it's because Game Freak does work on two separate teams, but, like something as simple as Heart Gold and Soul Silver, you could toggle on and off your run. That was awesome. Why is that not a consistent feature? Like, how is that something so simple? You're like, yeah, we never need that again. Like, I don't understand why they do this stuff. Like, just some small things like this. It's like, I'm not even asking for, like, you know, like I don't like the fucking ride Pokemon feature, but, like, fine, whatever. Have that for the game. That's fine. Just something as small as I want to have an ability to just go in the menu and go always run. Like the Final Fantasy games back in the, like, you know, late fucking 90s had that thing. You go in the feature and just go, when you hold the run button, you'll now walk and you'll just run all the time normally. I'm like, yeah, why don't we just do this? Why isn't this just a basic feature? But they just don't do that stuff. And it's just like I want to love Game Freak, but they just do stuff where it's just like, I don't understand how none of you have meetings? And you're like, so this is the things we added? And they're like, all right, cool. It's just, like, I don't understand. Or maybe they just don't value that stuff. I don't know. Just kind of annoying.
Yeah, it's very strange. Okay, so I'm just going to shotgun down a list of things that I liked about this game that were, like, not actually, like, they're not, like, features or anything. They're just, like, things that made me stop and go, oh, cool.
Okay.
The Kecleon in the tunnel.
Kecleon in a tunnel?
Oh, did you not see them? They're invisible. But you can see their shadow.
I guess I never really ran
into them. It's in the tunnel before the Ultra Recon Squad. Like, there's a little patch of shadow on the path, on the sidewalks and next to it. There's 2 or 3 of them there. And if you walk up to it and interact with it, it's a Kecleon.
Like a battle? Like in...
Yeah.
Because they did that in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, too.
Yeah. But I mean, like, that was part of the mainline story. Like, that was originally there.
No, there are some that you never have to interact with ever.
Right.
Like the one behind the sign... the very first sign you see on Route 120, there's one behind that.
Okay, that I didn't know.
Yeah, there's 2 or 3 that, like, you never have to interact with.
But just the fact that was there with no pomp or circumstance, it's just there was a Kecleon in the tunnel. It's invisible, but it has a shadow.
That's cool. I'm glad that's a thing that at least they kept.
Yeah. There's a kid that you fight who uses his brother's Kangaskhan.
Oh yeah, I saw that, yeah.
And then he leads with using Fling and doesn't have an item equipped.
Oh, yeah. That was cool.
Which is to show that he has this potentially powerful Pokemon and just doesn't know how to use it. And I love that.
Yeah, that was cool.
Okay. So we already talked to Ditto 5. Oh, so the concept of this being a parallel universe and how they drove that home with a whole bunch of tiny little tweaks. Like, when you first go to the first, like, town for the festival, you go up a different route.
Which
and
festival?
Then, the one where you fight Hao?
Oh, the very beginning?
Yeah. You just take a different path.
Do you?
Yeah.
Are you sure?
90%. But then the one that I actually... The one that jumped out at me that was like, that's such a weird little thing to change, but I am sure that it was a change because I saw it, like, literally yesterday. There's an old lady in one of the towns that is asking Meowth to cut tomatoes.
Okay.
In this game, she is asking him to do it with Slash. In the old game, she asks it to do it with Fury Swipes.
Oh, weird.
It is the most minor little change, but those little things are everywhere. And it really, like, just changes... It makes this feeling of, this isn't quite the same. If you're just playing this one, it'll never make a difference. But if you've played the other one, then it's just instilling this sense that, like, if you're buying into the narrative of, like, alternate dimensions and stuff, it sells it.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they do have a few moments where they really pound down that it's like this is a different dimension, different world, whatever terminology they use. There's a few things that they do.
I really liked the celebrity Pikachu.
Oh yeah.
He had a guy.
Yeah.
I liked the Pikachu wedding, which was adorable.
I thought the celebrity Pikachu was in the first version. Maybe I'm wrong. I thought he maybe just gave you a light ball. 'Cause I don't think there was the Pikachu Z Crystal in that one. Maybe there was.
You might be right. It might be that he was.
But the wedding, I feel like the
too.
wedding was definitely new. I don't remember that being.
Yeah, that was new.
Yeah, I don't remember that. Being
I liked the character actor Oricorio lady.
Oh yeah, she was cute. That was
It was just a nice touch.
It was a cool way to just show off all 4 of them. I wish her model changed every time though. I know they don't have enough models to cover all 4 of them, but I wish she changed outfits to look like each one of them, as opposed to just being I don't know which model, the teacher model, I guess. I'm not really sure what that model is supposed to be. I kind of wish her model changed, like, because she spun every time before she fought you, and I wish as she did that, her model would change, but I guess it's just limits on what kind of
but I mean, it's something.
Oh no, it was a good way to show off, like that. They did it in, I don't remember which one. I forget which Pokemon game it was. Was it Platinum, maybe? I want to say maybe it was Platinum. They had it where if you fought every trainer, you saw every Pokemon. I don't think it was Platinum. It was
cool.
Black and White. It was one of the DS ones. And as long as you fought every single trainer, you would have at least a full new. You would see every Pokemon of the basic region Pokédex.
That's neat.
And then if you did that, then you could go and unlock the national Pokédex. Because all you need to do is see them all. Whatever game this was, I can't remember which one it was. I want to say it was Platinum, but I could be wrong. It could be like Black and White. But as long as you fought everyone, you would have seen everything of your region's Pokédex. Go to the professor. He goes, "Oh, cool! You're allowed to have a national Pokédex." So it would help you unlock the national Pokédex by just battling everyone, as opposed to like. And I always thought that was pretty cool. I fucking wish I could remember which game that was, but I thought that was like a nice feature. So I always appreciate it when they have moments where they're like, "Hey, here's you just getting the fact that you can just see what every one of these look like in your Pokédex." Because having like a complete Pokédex, you can kind of visualize everything. It's always pretty cool.
Alright. So one other Easter egg that I caught is that there was an old lady who has a speech. I don't remember if it was before or after a fight, but like she's just someone you run into, and she happens to say, "Eat well, sleep well, live well," which is Master Roshi's slogan.
Oh, really? That's funny.
Yeah.
I don't remember that. But maybe it just didn't stick out to me.
It probably didn't. It's just random text that an old lady says before or after a battle.
Huh.
The Beware, Master Beware, that is training a martial artist, and apparently fought Kahunahala for a week without pause before calling it a draw.
Yeah.
The Starmie that's having a staring contest and can't lose because it doesn't have eyelids.
That I thought was really funny. Cause it doesn't even have an eye, I guess. I don't know. It's like the gen count as an eye. I don't even understand. And then the guy was like super concerned. He's like, "I don't know how to stop this." I'm like, "I also don't know how to help you, friend."
The way to fix it is apparently you need a Pokemon with tickle.
Yeah, I did see that, but yeah. I feel like it does have an eyelid. I think if you, at least in one of them, maybe it was Battle Revolution, if you knocked one out, it's like eye like half closed or something, or like it crunched up. I forget. There was one of them where like its death animation had it like looking like it was like closing. I think maybe I'm just making shit up.
There was the Team Skull Grunt that can't pose.
I don't remember that. Do I?
Oh, okay. You might have missed him. He was in the back of the of Po Town.
Yeah.
That place.
Yeah.
If you go all the way in the back after you've beaten Guzma, there is a Team Skull Grunt that's like, I think I have to quit Team Skull. And you're like, why? He's like, I can't do the poses.
Oh, that's funny.
And he shows him doing it and failing.
That's pretty good. I did miss that.
Yeah, no, it's amazing. I really enjoyed the bait and switch on the water trial, because that was the first one that was different.
Yeah, I did like how they did change, because that trial originally I felt was like poorly balanced, because Wishy-Washy is a little too strong for that. Also with the bonus, because like when it goes in that full form, it becomes like really bulky, so it's kind of like to also give it like a bonus is kind of weird. So I thought that was pretty well done. I also really like that Pokemon Arachnid or whatever, Aquarid or whatever. I do like him a lot.
I also agree that it was like a change for the better, but I have to put a caveat on that, because the Wishy-Washy thing was one of my favorite moments from the original Moon, because up until that point I hadn't seen that form.
Oh, okay.
So when it came out like that, I was like, holy shit, what is that? And then when the little type line just said wishy-washy, I'm like, oh my god, is this what Totem Pokemon do?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that is a good way to, like, show that off, or, like, make you think that. Yeah. That's a good point, yeah.
Yeah, so that's most of it. Oh, and the boss rush with the trial captains at the end. Like, pretty much the fairy trial, which is go fight all the trial captains.
That was really... I'm glad they added a trial for her.
Yeah.
That I did like that a lot. Because that was... I just like battling other people, and I like having to figure out what to do and, like, think things through like that. And actually, the AI was a little bit improved in this one, and people would withdraw Pokemon. Certain trainers would. Which I always liked. Like, more of the big story ones, like how would withdraw stuff.
If they're supposed to, in canon, be a good trainer, they'll do it.
People will withdraw stuff, which I always thought was kind of nice, like, to actually have that change. Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. Yeah, I mean, it's whatever. Like, I don't really think it was the best. I'm very curious to see what they do. Whatever. I don't like I forgot. I don't know if I got fully into this, but I don't like Z crystals because I feel like they're kind of needed for a lot of the totem Pokemon.
Oh, you didn't get into it for that specific reason, but you did say you hadn't liked them.
Yeah, I don't like the fact that, like, because they're just such a big hit, and because they get that bonus to damage, like, you kind of need them to, like, take care of them, and, like, I don't like that, and I think, like, Megas are more fun to use for that kind of thing, where, like, you feel like you're getting really strong, but it's not just, like, a big weird move. And the way that they limited it to certain Pokemon, I thought was also really cool. So if you were designing a team and you kind of knew who could Mega Evolve, you could be like, oh, well, I want to use this because I want to see what this Mega Evolution is like, and then you could, experiment in different ways like that. Like, I used Blaziken in Ruby because I was like, I never have, and I really want to use this Mega Evolution. So I was like, I never got to use this, so I got to use it. I'm like, oh, this is really strong. I see why this was banned. Stuff like that, where it's just like, this is kind of cool to kind of experiment with the different Mega Evolutions and stuff like that. Whereas, like, for this, I just gave everyone a Z Crystal, and I was just like, well, when it's your turn to train, I'll just do this. And, like, for most of the battles where they had one Pokemon, it's like, well, like, why would I not? Like, I'm just going to blow you up, I guess. And it's like, and, like, sometimes when, like, and if you didn't, then my Pokemon would get, like, severely damaged or die, and I was like, all right, well, like, I guess I have to or I don't. Like, it was kind of like one of the. It didn't feel like it was like, maybe that's because I did turn XP share off, so I was slightly underleveled, but it just felt like I was kind of like, not necessarily to play optimally, but to play like to play more smart and like, because I like to pretend like my Pokemon are real and like I'm trying to take care of them and I don't want them to be hurt. So to kind of play that way and be like, well, do I just use you as death fodder then, or do I use this Z move so that you can take this thing out? But like, then I don't have. Like, it seemed kind of weird. So like, I don't really.
Not a full Nuzlocke, but in Nuzlocke mentality.
Yeah, like I always do that with every Pokemon, even if I do have like, even if I did use the XP share on, I would have the mentality. I always do treat them like they're kind of a thing, like a real animal. Yeah. So like I feel like Z moves or Z crystals make me have to think. They just kind of like. For me to have their safety, I have to use this, or else they get killed, or they take way too much damage, and it's just kind of like, I would rather have Mega Evolutions because I got to kind of play around that, and it makes Pokemon. Like it meant something. Yeah, it means something, and it makes Pokemon like a Lopunny who's like, okay, something really cool, or like Alakazam or whatever.
Prefer Mega Evolutions to Z moves. Z moves are like fine, but
they're okay,
Mega Evolutions were really cool.
The only thing I think that's kind of cool with them, and it really only plays into competitive because no one uses Protect in the single player campaign, but it hits through Protect and does half damage.
Yeah,
which I think is cool.
For competitive, I think it's a neat thing. But
I don't even think it's that cool for competitive. I don't know. I just think they're kind of boring.
Yeah, but I mean, like, they're easier to balance than.
No, I guess that's true. Like, I just think they're kind of
if you had to make the call on one or the other, I could see why you would make the call towards them in competitive specifically, like to make them for competitive specifically. That being said, I think the Megas are a lot more interesting.
They're way more. I think they're way cooler. Yeah. They're just I guess too. My big complaint with Pokemon is that I think I'm just kind of maybe what I'm looking for is not there because I want a balanced, challenging experience. I want to feel like I'm being rewarded as opposed to being. I felt like I was being more punished, where it's like you play a Persona or even these Digimon Cyber Sleuth games are amazing. Like Cyber Sleuth is the best Pokemon game to come out in the last few years. It's fucking really good, and it's not fucking, it does the same thing where it's a fucking rock, paper, scissors, catch 'em up, but it's fucking, requires you to think a little bit more. The battles are different because you have 3 guys at once. Just the feature of adding, and this Persona does this too, just a basic attack. Having this thing where it's not going to use one of your resources, stuff like that. I just feel like is, and maybe that is just me. What I'm looking for is this genre of these catch 'em ups, but not using but Pokemon's just the one that's geared towards children, where Digimon and Persona are designed for more adults, or at least they might be designed for children. I mean, Persona's not.
Persona's for adults. Yeah. Has that big M on the case.
But like designed for more critical thinking and like rewarding towards like growing your roster of monsters and figuring out how you want to make them work and customizing the way you want a little bit more intensely and stuff like that. Whereas Pokemon's kind of, I don't know. I'll be curious to see what they do with the Switch version and see what because I don't like. Excuse me. To have the comment be something to this effect of, I forget where I read this, but it was something to the effect of like, we feel like we need to really step our game up because of Zelda and Mario, because they're the third big flagship series for Nintendo properties, even though they're technically a what the fuck am I trying to say here?
They're subsidiary, right?
They're a second party. Yeah, they're a second party game, not a first party game like Zelda and Mario.
Wait, what? But hold on, what?
Yeah, they don't. Pokemon is
second party. Sorry, I guess I'm thinking first person, second person. It's just in my head, second party is you.
No, because first party is made. First party is made by the company, so like, made by Nintendo. Whereas Pokemon's made by Game Freak, but Game Freak only makes games for Nintendo. Whereas third party would be like a Ubisoft, who makes games for everything. That kind of thing. So like they are like a second party developer for Nintendo, where they are separate, but the Pokemon company itself has Nintendo owns part of that, so like that's where Nintendo comes into this. They own the they're a third of the Pokemon company, but Game Freak makes the game, so like that's what that whole thing is. But
sorry, I had gotten it mixed up with person, because first person means me, third person means them, second person is you.
Yeah.
So I'm like, what would that be? Is that like custom created?
Yeah. So like but they are the second biggest, when people think of Nintendo, think of Mario, Zelda, and Pokemon. Maybe Metroid in some weird reality.
Metroid and Star Fox kind of lost that luster.
No, that's like in a weird reality that'd probably be the case. But it's the Pokemon's the third one, so I'd be curious to see what they meant by that. Like, as both Mario and Zelda are far more like, here's the the playground, go. So I'd be interested if that's how they take it, or do they take it more, and I don't know which direction they would necessarily go with that. I don't know. I'd be curious. Like, do they just be like, it's stronger now, we can have a more 3D experience, or is it like, we can have more animations to the character creator or whatever? I don't know how they're going to interpret it, because I always feel like I have an idea of what they mean, and then they just do something different, and like sometimes it's good, sometimes I don't know. Game Freak just works on a weird level, and I think it might be partially due to the fact that because like when the Switch came out, they're like, fuck no. And then it did really well, and they're like, "We'll think about it." And then recently, they were I think it was right after Mario came out. They're like, "It'll be on the Switch." So like they've like had this weird like year of like what they're gonna do with the Switch. So like I don't know, and like they're on a yearly schedule, so like maybe that fucks with them a little bit. Like maybe they should go like maybe every 2 years, every 3 years they print out a Pokemon game. I mean, it would definitely make it a little more special, and like nothing's better than going to like a big Pokemon release and like, holy shit, everyone's here, this is so cool, as opposed to like, oh well, I'm here again, what up? So like maybe that would help them to like really refine things and stuff like that. I don't know. I'm not Game Freak. I don't know what the fuck's going on, but I hope the Switch one. I'm just curious. I'm just curious what
There's
they
a lot
what
of
they take from
potential
that.
there.
Yeah, I'd be so curious to see what they do. I really do hope they go that Zelda direction of like, here's the thing, go take care of it at your own pace. I think that'd be really fun.
There's a lot of potential there for stories with people and Pokemon and all that kind of thing. Like one of the favorite things I've done with Pokemon lately was not even related to the game. So it was the Pokemon tabletop.
Oh, yeah.
Just because like that world is so fascinating to try to think of more deeply.
Yeah.
Because it wasn't originally designed that way, but like just because of the way that it's been built and all the lore between the games and the show and all that kind of stuff, you just sort of like put together this image of the world that's like fascinating.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of cool stuff. A lot of cool.
One of the neat little
stuff
things
then.
that they did with that in Ultra Sun and Moon is the little boy you meet on the beach who's possessed by Palisand.
I don't know if I talked to him. That doesn't sound familiar.
Okay, so you meet a little boy, and he's like, "Here's my sandcastle. I made it," and then you like interact with it or whatever, and it's the Sandygast.
Yeah.
And then you fight it, and either feint it or catch it or whatever, and then he pretty much just monologues at you about how, like, oh, you're stronger than you looked. Well, there's plenty of prey around, so I'll get you next time, and disappears.
Oh, yeah, I totally missed that. I don't remember that at all.
And if you read the Pokedex entry for Palisand, which is the evolved form of Sandygast, it's that it has the ability to mind control children.
Huh.
And uses it to hunt people.
I always do like the fact, like, and that's the thing, I wish they would do this too, is where some of the Pokedex entries are brutal, and I wish they would play with that more, like, in the game, and so that's kind of cool that they kind of did that a little bit there, but, like, and they kind of did a little bit with Toxapex in the last one.
Yeah, that too.
Where it's like, oh, this thing, like,
I like that they're getting more comfortable with it, which I could see them doing stuff down the line.
Yeah, well, it's always kind of, like, passive, like, in the Toxapex thing, some of the SOS Pokemon for Corsolas can be a Toxapex. And it's like, that's kind of cool. It's like a 1% chance or something.
Yeah, and then it'll attack them.
Yeah, and like, that's cool. Like, I like that they would do something like that, because like that, and like that, kind of like a Seviper Zangoose thing. I think that's pretty cool. So, like, I would be interested to see if they would lean more into that stuff or be a little more intense. I'm not sure. It'd be I don't know. Maybe the Switch is something that they can actually do. Maybe that's a direction they can take that in. I don't know.
Yeah. One other, this is just a random fact that I found that might be one of my new favorite Pokedex entries that aren't like one of the Grimdark ones.
Mm-hmm.
It is Pineco in Ultra Moon specifically.
Huh.
It sticks tree bark to itself with its saliva, making itself thicker and larger. Elderly Pineco are ridiculously huge.
Yeah, there are some really good ones. There's some really good Pokedex entries, and I really wish they would actually, like you would see some of that reflected. Like, you would just see some gigantic Pineco or something. That would be really cool.
Between what they've been doing with, like, Totem Pokemon and the story and the interactions with the NPCs and, like, the Ditto 5, like, all this kind of stuff gives me a lot of faith for what they'll do going forward. Because it's making the world feel more like a world. Like,
I guess what I would really, really like is if, like, the first town area, two towns, whatever, they treat it as the tutorial. Then they kind of just let you go, and you can kind of just do stuff. But, like, you go to, like, a Viridian Forest, and you can just walk straight through it and whatever. But if you use Cut or whatever, and you go into the deeper parts of it, you see, like, the ruler of Viridian Forest and some big totem Pokemon. But there's still, like, gym battles, and, like, that's the focus. But, like, that shit's just in the world somewhere where there's just these really cool Pokemon that are really strong. And, like, they're totally optional, or maybe some of them that do get in your way and you gotta take care of them, whatever. But, like, we're, like, I guess not systematically, but, like, conceptually, totem Pokemon could be awesome.
yeah.
Leaning your game on them, I think, is not my favorite thing. And, like, I'd rather have a gym battle. And, like, I feel like that makes more sense when it comes to, like, an Elite Four and stuff. I like that bureaucracy of the Pokemon universe.
Like, Pokemon boss battles is cool. Gym battles are cool. They aren't interchangeable.
No, I agree. They are not. And, like, I'd rather have the game's focus be gym battles. I like getting badges. I like looking at my trainer card and seeing the badges. That's just a thing for me, but I enjoy that. Like, the small things, like, in Gen 4, you could polish your badges. I like that. That was just a nice touch. It made me feel like I earned these and I gotta take care of them. So every once in a while, I'll just open it and I would just polish my shit and close it and move on with my life. Like, I just like that. That's just a nice thing. So I kind of wish they would kind of do that more. But, like, what I'd really like, especially with the Sinnoh remake potentially being a thing, using that mindset of, like, and go ahead, and then things like you just end up in the snow area. But, like, the cool thing that would be with this, where it would be kind of more like a Zelda, where you're going up towards what will be the 7th badge, but you can just go there if you want, but the shit's now wicked hard because it's a fucking, like, mountain. It's all frozen, so the Pokemon that'd be up there would be tough because it's cold. So, like, using the natural, like, environments, being like, at the top of a mountain, things are going to be a little bit stronger because this is a rough environment. Where it's frozen, it'll be pretty tough because that's a tough environment. Whatever. So, like, the game will kind of dictate where you're supposed to go anyway, just because you're going to walk into things being like, okay, this is pretty hard, but you could push through, you could grind there if you want to, you could get a little bit stronger, and then, but, or you can be like, you know what, maybe I'll just focus on this, and then like, gym battles would fluctuate, because gym leaders are always saying like they hold back or whatever, and then like when you see them later, they don't hold back and they have their full team, their real team, and like kind of making that more clear, where you could go, depending on when you show up there, they have a certain team. So you show up there 4th, they have 4 Pokemon. When you show up there 1st, they have 1. Something like that, or 2. I guess no gym leader has 1 Pokemon, but you know what I mean.
That would be really neat to have them actually be fluctuating the way that they say they are. Yeah,
like I think that would just be kind of cool, because like I like the fact that you can kind of just, I like the idea of collecting badges, but I always think it's kind of weird that like there's an order to it. But like in the show, it was like you get them when you show up. If you can get to this gym, you can do that. And like,
even in the games that you can go slightly out of order, that is even the case. Like with if I remember correctly, in Silver, you can get your 4th and 5th badge in any order.
No, because you have to get Jasmine off the lighthouse. I feel like you need something from something to make that happen. Can you do that?
I'm getting which one's wrong, but there is a pair of badges that you unlock at the same time.
You can do 5 and 6 in Gen 1 in either order, but it doesn't change how strong they are, I don't believe.
That's true, but those two were pretty close to one another regardless.
But yeah, you could do them, and you could beat Sabrina before you beat Koga. Yeah, that was totally cool. And I like that. I think that's a cool thing that they should just do more often, where, like, I think it was, I want to say, like, Battle Frontier or something, where like they were in Kanto, but they were going to different towns and seeing different things, and I think there were other badges, like Gary had 10 badges, even I think that was just a continuity error, but like the concept of like he fought other things, like that would be cool, where like maybe in the game itself there are 12 gyms, but like not all the gyms are in cities, some of them are on a fucking mountain, go ahead and go find it, and like if you go do that and you're like, oh shit, look, a gym, this is cool, or like or literally take the Zelda structure of there are 4 main dungeons and 150 shrines. Do like there are 8 main gyms and 1,000 totem Pokemon or something, and like the different areas in the game you can go get totem Pokemon. You can do them in any order. They all do different things. I mean, sure, Zelda's a little bit different because it's an RPG, but not like a numbers RPG. So maybe if they I don't know if they could really retool Pokemon so that would do that, but something to that effect.
I don't know if they want to.
Yeah, I don't know if they want to either, but like maybe. And I know it's not the same or they're really that equivalent, but like World of Warcraft is adding like what are they calling it? It's the same thing as like Final Fantasy 14, where it's like a flex level system where it's like it'll change your level, but in WoW's case, it's going to change the area's level. So like, if you're a level, as long as you're level 10, you can go to all these different areas, and then you can do them. But this area goes all the way to 60. So if you want to clear this zone, and then you want to go to this other zone, you can. And it's going to be at your level, and you can do that. And like, so that's the thing they're going to add. So maybe if they take something of that technology into Pokemon, where it's like the whole region is going to be at your level, and just go at you as you please. Things are going to be harder and easier depending on what typing you show up here, but what the region is. Maybe there's something like the desert in Hoenn. You need a couple kind of goggles thing, or maybe like a.
I don't know if that would necessarily be better or not.
I think it would just be more. I think it'd be more. It would feel more like an adventure as opposed to a. But
I also kind of like the idea of being able to wander somewhere and just finding something that's like that is 15 levels above me. Let's not go there.
Well, I don't know. I think it's always kind of cool. Like the new Zelda game, you can go up on a mountain and it's freezing and it's really tough, but you can go and find equipment that makes it easier. And I think that'd be kind of cool where you can, depending on what you have, you can, but if what you find, what you have, you go to a town, maybe there's someone at the bottom of the town, it's like, hey, would you like to buy my coat? And you're like, go fuck yourself, old man. And you go upstairs, I'm a fucking rad kid. And you fucking walk the mountain, you're like, holy shit, that guy was right. Like something like that would be really cool. Where like it's like whatever, like, I don't know, it would be way more interesting than just like, I feel like an adventure that I feel like Pokemon like at its core really fucking hits. But what Gen 7 was doing was a lot of like holding your hand and go to the red marker on the minimap and have a conversation with someone you really don't give a shit about. How? I don't want to talk to you for the 47th time in an hour. Please go away. Stuff like that. Or I'd rather
at least
just
he was capable this time around.
I did like that they changed Sim as the champion. I did, or the challenger. I thought that was it made way more sense than like the professor being like, and you're gonna fight me. It's like, all right, dude, relax. Yeah, like that actually like that had a build to it, and like they changed his dialogue a few times where he was like, I'm gonna get better than you, and you're like, all right, man, you try that. And then he actually
did get stronger. Like, he was decent by the end of that game.
Oh yeah, they did a good job with him.
Yeah.
He was like way more interesting this time around than previously.
They actually executed on what they were trying to do the first time, which was have you be the rival.
Yeah, way more. That was way better job.
Because like if you look at the whole like plot construction, you're functionally Gary.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's a good point. Just, also Red. You're also the one saving the day. But yeah, that's cool. It's neat. It's like they always like, I feel like they're close. They're close to making something really fucking cool. But I never feel like they learn and then like adapt and change from game to game.
Between game to game, there's a lot of stuff lost. So that's why I'm not entirely sure they're gonna hit the peak that they're close to.
Yeah,
I really did enjoy the stuff that they're at right now.
I feel like they're so close to hitting like a really cool stride, and I just don't know if they're gonna get there. Like at this point, if Atlas was like, and Persona 6 is coming out next year, I'd be like, that game's gonna be fucking unbelievable because I've seen them iterate and change and take criticism well. And
I would be really confused, if only because of the development times on all the previous ones.
Oh, I mean, that's not what I meant, but like, just like,
yeah, I know.
Like if they're like, this game's gonna come out in fucking 2020, I'd be like, all right, that game's gonna be great. They've every single time they've put out this with this new team and this new direction, every single time. 3 was great. 4 was better than 3. 5 is better than 4. Like they always learn. They always change things. They've just showed that they've had that track record. They're paying attention. If you're like, fuck, this is a really weird feature, it's gone in the next game. So but with Pokemon, they've never really done that. I don't know why. I think it's because they have 2 teams. I think that might be part of it, but I don't know. So hopefully they figure it out.
To be fair, though, the one thing that was for a lot of people what that this is a weird feature, I don't know why they're still sticking with it thing, was the HMs.
I mean, that's fine. That's fair. Like, if they have to get rid of that, that's fine, I guess. But
yeah, that was something people have been complaining about for years.
I just don't think Ride Pokemon are necessarily the fix.
That's fair. If I were going to make if I had like full design control, I would just have them be properties. Like, you would teach your Pokemon how to do things. Like, then it would make sense why they're badge locked.
Oh, right.
Like,
they're not.
okay,
yeah. They're not moves.
You beat this. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It's just capabilities. It's like, all right, you beat me. I'm going to teach you how to smash rocks.
Right.
And then any of your Pokemon that can do that can just do it.
Yeah. Yeah, that'd be way more interesting. Because, like
it's weird that a Pokemon can forget strength.
I mean, it's weird any Pokemon can forget any move, I guess, that logic.
Right. But, I mean, like, it's weird that they can forget the basic ones. But, I
don't know. And I just don't
why does a Machamp have to have a move to push a rock?
But, like, why does everyone have, like, riding a Charizard is just what you do in Alola? And it's like, that's weird. I'd rather it be, like, my thing or, like, I don't know. It's just, I don't like Pokemon Ride. I don't like the dorky outfit they put you in. I don't like that it replaces the bike. I don't like that they're like, this is just what you do. And it's just like, fucking come on. Like why are you leaning so hard into this when it's like not that great? Okay at best, just like, I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like riding around on Pokemon was my favorite part of like X and Y.
But it was different for X and Y. It was like, here's a Pokemon that's hanging out here, like the Rhydon thing or the Rhyhorn thing. You're like, you know what? I'll use him to get through this. And, like, that was cool. Like, it felt like something like the fucking Pokemon Christ they make you out to be would be able to do. You'd be like, I'm going to be able to reach out to this Pokemon. It's going to agree that it needs to help me, and I'm going to get over this hurdle. And I thought that was cool. The fact that there's, like, Pokemon that are, like, hired to do jobs for you is weird. Where it's like,
yeah, it's a little strange.
Like, it's just, I don't know. Like, I get the fact that Alola is supposed to be like this, this nature region and everyone's communal and whatever, but I don't know. I like your idea way more where it's like, I'm going to teach you the concept of like, this is how you move a rock. And then any of your Pokemon that can do this, any Pokemon with fucking whatever can do this or like whatever, that's way more interesting. I guess I don't know how you would balance that with random teams or whatever, but like it's...
Well, I mean, it'd be fine. You would just need to have a Pokemon that could conventionally do it. It would be exactly the same as if you needed HMs, you just wouldn't need a slot.
No, that's a way better idea. I never even thought of that being a thing, but that's a way better idea than even HMs. Because then it does feel like it's your Pokemon on your journey, and they're helping you get through traverse the world, and so that you both can get stronger. It's a way better system than I'm gonna use this random Tauros to run up and down this fucking thing. Like, it's just weird. I just don't like it, and that's a way better idea.
The only thing that would be a weird thing to change now by implementing that would be that we'd have to go back to the old slash across the screen, show your Pokemon doing an animation, thing happens mode, because otherwise you'd have to model every single Pokemon doing a variation of these moves.
I don't mind that, though. I always thought that was cool when your character would pose and put the Pokeball over their head, and then this thing would show up, and
but like,
that was always cool.
It would be kind of strange in 3D after having it something else.
I don't know. They kind of did it with Gen 6, where like when you use Fly, it was just a generic bird-shaped thing.
Yeah, no, and it was fine.
It was fine.
What I'm saying is, like, people will complain about it because they've had ride Pokemon, where you actually are interacting with the Pokemon.
Do people really care that deeply, though, about ride Pokemon?
Yeah, I think people like them.
That's insane. You're all crazy. You fucking wearing a...
No, the children are wrong.
Yeah, totally. It's absurd. It's such a dumb fucking... Ride Pokemon suck. You're gonna tell me you look cool in that stupid dorky outfit? You can go fucking... Go off. Go away. This is not for you. Pokemon's for adults. Get out of here. No, kidding. I mean, yeah, like I've been really contemplating this because I really, really dislike Sun and Moon, and I still have a lot of problems with Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon. Did a couple things kind of cool, but I feel like a lot of the system level issues, something as simple as hitting A to open a door, that drives.
Might be that that is annoying,
and like so,
it might also just be that you're growing apart.
Because
it's weird that like that is something that drives you insane, while like Persona 5, I've had so much issues with just like interacting with stuff is a pain.
What do you mean?
Like, you know how they have the little, like, you walk into something and it'll give you a little, like, blink?
Yeah. Well,
two things that bother me. One, that sound is incessant. It is everywhere. Because there are so many things to interact with that, like, it's happening literally multiple times a second in some areas. So I wish I could just turn off that chime.
I don't even remember that chime. That's
fair. But it probably just filtered into your subconscious.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
But the second thing is that, like, occasionally, usually it's fine, but occasionally it will just get so fussy about whether you're actually lining up with it or not.
Oh, really? I don't think I ever had that problem either. I had that problem in Final Fantasy 15. Holy shit, why is jump and interact on the same button? What the fuck are you thinking?
That is weird. But, like, I guess that just makes it more obvious when it's happening.
Also, the big problem with A to open a door is you're already using that hand to do, like, to move. I guess you could put it on L, but then you can't use your PC boxes, which is frustrating. I'm already using B to run forward, and, like, again, this is a feature they've added before that they could fix if they just had it so you could toggle on sprint, but they don't. Or just pushing the joystick, which we're now on an analog control. Why are we fucking still not using this? It's not just a button anymore. We don't need a run button anymore. Like, we can move past that, but they still insist on having a run button. Like, these weird, stupid little things that, like, there are so many ways to fix it, where it's like even if hitting X to interact something is in Persona, I'm not using another button just to move to do that. You know what I mean?
That's fair.
Like, the fact that I have to hit another button just to run up to the door, then to let go, hit A, and then walk into the Pokemon Center is like a fraction of a second that I wish I could just walk in. All the other ones are just, you just walk forward and the door opens and you go forward. Like, the fact that they have to have this one additional thing, I don't know why. I guess is maybe people were just, maybe it's worse without, but, like, I don't know. Like, it's just, why have the B thing with the run? Like, they stick with some things for tradition's sake, it seems like, but then other things, like, I don't know. Like, some things don't need to be tradition when, like, we're moving in a certain direction. Like, I don't know. It's kind of whatever. But, like, yeah, probably this is just a game for kids, and I just need to move on in my life. Because these are just, like I said, Digimon's amazing. And, like, the new one comes out in a couple weeks, and I'll just fucking keep playing those, I guess. Because, like, it's the same thing, just just treated like a real game, not treated like, there's no 3-hour tutorial, which these fucking Gen 7 games still have. There's no way of skipping it. Like, I think I've said it once on this show, but I wish there was
nice to say
what?
no thanks.
Yeah, I wish there was an option to say no thanks, or when you're making your character, you make it clear, like, I've done this before. You pick a teenager as opposed to a child, and like you're not 11, you're 17 and moving to the town, and like, it's okay, you've done this before, and like, they're, all right, cool, you're good, you can go forward, you can just, whatever. Like, I wish that was more of a thing, where I don't have to be told how to catch Pokemon. I don't need to be told these whole things. I don't need to be walked through this, because, this is the second time I've played this Gen 7 game, and both times it takes me like 2 or 3 times to sit down and push through this giant tutorial and just be like, oh my god, when do I get to just do, like, when do I just get to play the game? And excuse me, with the Rotom never shutting up, and like, you're constantly running into NPCs that want to talk to you, I just never felt like I got to just play the game. I never got to just run off on my own and go do Pokemon things. I had to be, no, hang on, sit down, listen to me, hang on, we're talking to you. I just kept feeling like I was being interrupted, and like, I just want to have this adventure with my Pokemon. I just want to go off and like, playing Zelda, even though I've only played like maybe 2 hours total, it does that, where it's just like, it's super like hands off. It's like, all right, you're good. Like, we kind of told you what thing, so like, basically, here's what a shrine looks like, and this is how I kind of do things. All right, go ahead. And you're like, holy shit, all right, I guess I just do things now. And like, that can be overwhelming for people. I know that's not everyone.
Yeah, like that's why I've never completed like any of those open world games.
And I'm not saying it has to be that vast as a Zelda, where there's 150 shrines and 999 seeds and all this stuff. Keep it to the general Pokemon numbers. 8 badges, or maybe make it a few more, so you could do them in different orders if you so choose, or whatever. And and just kind of let us go and let us do our thing. And you can still have a bad guy team that shows up and gets in the way of things, and you stop them and all that kind of stuff. But just having it so much to be like, it feels less like an exploring adventure and more like an amusement park ride, where you're just walking down this path and having these conversations, then you go off and you walk down these paths, and then you have these conversations, and oh my god, there's a big Pokemon in this forest. Okay, now we're gonna go and fight the big guy in the other thing. And it's just like, it's just a constant, like, small things, and like, there's not a lot of puzzles before. I'm not saying the gym battle puzzles were fucking amazing, but they were, they all had a puzzle, where some of them it kind of was like, you walk forward, or like the puzzle was like, hit A like twice. Like the fucking electric one was like, the easiest thing in the world to move the fucking little battery Pokemon there. You're like, oh, this is like, I think I hit A like maybe 4 times between the 3 times you have to show up there and like just shift them a few times. Like, it was like, we're so close to having like kind of like, again, I guess it's for children, so it can't be the hardest thing in the world. But I kind of wish they would, like, it's kind of like the argument where someone will be like, oh, I don't watch animated movies because they're for children. It's like, that doesn't have to be, they don't have to be mutually exclusive. You don't have to have a thing that's just for children, and you don't have to have a thing that's just for adults. You can have something that
that's
everyone
fair,
can enjoy. So I don't know.
It's, the difference is that, like, the barrier to entry still has to be low enough to let the children in, whatever that is. So whatever the core game is, does have to be available to be completed by a child.
But like, this is the second most highest selling game in the world. It's third, something like that.
Yeah,
I think it's second. I don't remember. I just know Mario's first. And it has been ever since it started. Granted, there are 2 games, and they do technically get sold separately, and they're always like, I think Ultra Sun, Ultra Moon was like, in physical sales, Sun was 10th, and then Moon was 11th highest of all games physical sales. So like, technically it's cheating, but we'll just say Pokemon sells really well. It's very popular with everyone. And they've never had this problem. They don't have a problem where it's like, I can still, like, I have, the digital version of Red on my DS. Like, I'll still play that all the time. It's still fun. It's still, like, well balanced. It still feels like I'm on an adventure. I don't feel, it's doing Pokemon stuff, and it's still one of the best selling games ever. It's still something that's super popular. It just doesn't feel like I'm being, treated like a child. I don't feel like, I was 5 when I started playing Pokemon, and I could figure it out. Like, I don't think we need to, be like, what the children? Like, I think kids are smart enough to figure stuff out. I don't think we need to be worried that, oh no, they're never going to figure this out. This is going to be horrible. This is going to be, like, I think kids are actually way smarter than a lot of people give them credit for. I think we can, I think totally. They can be challenged. I think we can have a game that's hard, but really, I don't think it's going to be like.
Well, it needs to have its difficulty in certain places. Like I
guess difficulty's not what I'm saying. It's more like just being treated so like there's no way you have any idea what this is. There's no way that this one basic explanation of what a battle is or how catching Pokemon works. Like, we're going to make sure you go to the Pokemon school and go do 5 battles where each one's going to tell you a super... Like, hang on. I think we can figure it out by just trying it. By just attempt... Like,
Definitely.
I don't think we don't need all that kind of stuff. We don't need to be bothered every few seconds, The islands, I feel like, could be a little bit bigger, maybe. That might have fixed it a little bit. Maybe because it was islands that it felt so cramped and like I'm constantly being bothered. I'm constantly being harassed by NPCs because, you can only go so far because you're on an island or whatever. So maybe if it was on a bigger region, it would feel less like that. I don't know. Out
of curiosity, do you know how the routes count? Like the number of routes compare to a normal game? Because I know for a fact that they are larger than a normal game. Like that those routes cover more territory.
These ones?
Yeah.
I don't think that's the case, no.
Well, I mean, it's not true compared to Hoenn, maybe, but, like, a lot of these routes are huge, because, like, I've seen people that have to, like, change Nuzlocke rules, because, you end up on, like, Route 1, 2, and 3 for, like, so long. You pass through a whole bunch of,
It's like 20.
Like, screen breaks in between, but it's still the same route.
It's like 20-ish, 25-ish in this game. Maybe 20,
gotcha.
Somewhere between 20 and 25. They're not, though, because your character model is so big. Like, the big open area, the Pony Plains or whatever, is not that big. It's kind of whatever. There's, like, the cave that's there is, like, 3 rooms. Like, in the other ones, your character model is so small. So every route, even if they are, like, pixel by pixels, like, the same size, it feels way bigger because you're so tiny, and like there's these giant rock walls or these giant trees or whatever, and you're just like a kid or whatever, and it feels way bigger.
That could be.
I don't know. I mean, I think a lot of the and I mean actually, I don't know. Maybe I wish they would do more with the whole thing. Just like everyone's big favorite is gold and silver, or if you're a sane person, heart gold and soul silver. Because you have 16 badges, you get to go and do an entire another regions. I think like that's something they need to lean in more too. So maybe people like this stuff, and I feel like they expanded more and did more with that kind of stuff, and had an interesting post game where you're like, hey, just go fucking do this too. I don't know. I'd like to see what they do. I know Nintendo's now leaning into like DLC, so maybe the next Pokemon game could actually have like kind of cool, hey, go explore this region. You're like, oh, that's so cool, or whatever. I know they have to like rebalance it and stuff usually, because like if you look at the level caps for stuff, like
yeah.
In some of the Johto stuff, I don't depending on the Pokemon you have, like some of them won't even be fully evolved by the time you like actually like attempt the Elite Four and stuff, because like
that always seemed really weird to me.
Like the last gym, like the 8th gym, you're like level 45 or something. I forget the exact numbers, but like you're really low level. Sometimes like you just won't have, but yeah, that's because you have another region to explore. So balancing wise, it gets all weird. So yeah, I would be curious to see, because everyone's always like, oh, I just want them to have a game where you go to every region. It's like then you'd be getting your 8th badge at like level 16. Like it just wouldn't work. Yeah. So like I don't know how they'd have to do that unless they like design it all where it's like kind of like an MMO expansion where it's like, and this region you can go up to level 70. Everything goes to level 70, and in this region everything goes to level 80. Like something like that.
I was thinking a little differently. The other way that the MMO expansion actually works, which is Pokemon go to level 200 now.
Oh, I don't think they would ever do that. Maybe, I don't know.
Probably not, but they also wouldn't do a game with all 8 regions.
No, they would never do that.
I'm thinking like if they had to approach it that way, it'd be like, okay, we're adding another 50 levels or whatever. It goes up to 150 now.
I just think they should do scaling. I just think that would just be way better. That would just solve every problem. If everything was just your level, and it's just like as you got stronger, things got stronger. Like it was just like,
that'd be really weird.
It would make it so you could explore anything at any pace and fucking, have every region. I just think that would solve a lot of that, but it would allow them to have more stuff. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Maybe just I don't know. I would say just get rid of levels.
Because then how would you get rid of levels in Pokemon?
I don't know. I mean, you'd have to redo the whole thing, but it would be more. I don't know. It'd be very interesting. I don't know. It feels like it kind of holds it back from having that game that everyone wants.
Yeah, I mean, it's sort of like that the game that everybody wants isn't actually a Pokemon game at all.
No, because everyone's like, "Oh, I want a Pokemon MMO." I'm like, there's like nothing to do with other people in like Pokemon. Like an MMO setting for that wouldn't make any sense. Like, because MMOs are inherently with other people. You want to do stuff with your friends. Like what? Like, okay, we can.
It'd be kind of cool to get like Pokemon Xenoverse, like where you're playing through.
That would
like,
be cool.
You have that sort of mission thing, and then like there are raids against like the legendaries and that type of thing.
Yeah, but like the extent of it would be like we could multi-battle, I guess. Like unless they redo everything.
You could shake that up and like have mechanics for that. I could probably like take 20 minutes and sketch out what a raid encounter would look like for.
I don't think it'd
a bunch of
but
dudes.
I don't think unless they reevaluate, like redo all of Pokemon, I don't think it would be interesting. Like.
It could be though. Like you could have something of interest there. But it would take a lot of time to design and a lot of processing power.
You'd have to redo the whole thing. You couldn't be turn-based anymore. Unless you want a nightmare experience. There's no way you could do that.
You need a turn timer.
Yeah, but like that's still like you put your command in and what? Just continue watching a Netflix show or something? Like you would have to have more of a real-time thing. Like there's just...
I guess. But like when I'm picturing stuff on the Switch or whatever, if we're getting this crazy nightmare MMO, then like I have to assume that the graphics are doing something of note.
Well, I mean, my point is these things everyone says they want, I don't think would actually make sense with the current place Pokemon's at.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like you
couldn't just copy paste a Pokemon.
No, like everyone's always like, I want a Pokemon MMO and I want one where we go to all the regions. And like if you sit back and you think about it, it's a nightmare game, like you said. It does not work the way you think it is, or it's a miserable experience because it's working the way you think it's going to work. Like it's not this fix-all problem. So I think what they need to do is we should be worrying about the single-player things, and we should really like reevaluate everything because, like I said, they're very close to being like really really cool, but they're just, I don't know. They seem very scatterbrained. They just need to land it down. They need to figure out what they're doing. They just need to piece it all together because then it would be fucking hot diggity dog. It'd be dope, but. I don't know. Maybe I'll just play other things. Just move on. I don't know. I don't want to give up though. That's the problem. Like I've been watching this game grow up. It grew up with me. And it feels really fucking unfortunate that it's just okay. It's not like improving. It's kind of
It's certainly weird. Like it's grown into something else.
Yeah. And like I kind of want, I don't know.
That being said, the one thing that is different that nowadays, like it's definitely a change, but I don't know. You said that you don't like the music from this game?
No, I do.
Oh, okay.
I don't like the basic, like I don't like the totem battle music, and I don't like some of the general things, but like the Ultra Recon people have awesome music, and there is some phenomenal music in the post game.
That's fair. Okay, because the Kahuna battle music, the Champion theme, Gladion's theme, and Team Skull are all phenomenal.
Yeah, like, I just think like I don't like the totem battle one. I think it's just kind of it's almost
the totem
too
battle's like fine.
It's okay. It's like almost too upbeat for kind of what I feel like it should feel like. It should feel more like a boss thing. And then like the general music walking around isn't that great. I like the Ultra Beast music as well. Actually, I think that's always really cool. I just like the Ultra Recon people. I think is such a fucking fun little like the fucking like static coming in and out of it and stuff like that is really cool. And I cannot speak highly enough of the fucking post-game music they did. Oh my god, it's so good. It's so fucking good.
Well, that's exciting.
The post-game of this game, like the post-game of the first one was like, it did a lot kind of like what X and Y did, where you just did a lot. Like the missions for Looker and X and Y, where you're just constantly coming back and going away. And like,
I kind of love that, but
I liked it, but like it was like almost too long, and it was a lot of like going back to him and going back out, and it was not like, he wasn't like, I kind of feel like we should have been working together and moving forward. It was like a lot. And they kind of redid a very much like, you have to come back to this place, then go forward, and come back to this place, and then go back out. And like that was kind of the deal with the regular Sun and Moon. This one, they were just like, it's way shorter, it's way more epic, go ahead, and the music's phenomenal. Yeah. Not the extra part of the region that they locked away on Pony Island. Like there was like the Pony Plains and the other thing that leads to the battle tree or whatever. That's the same and still kind of bland, but whatever. But the thing they added to this game, fucking cool. It was really, really neat, and they have really good music. for that.
Yeah, I'm pretty hyped to play the end of it just because I know Rainbow Rocket's a thing, and that's exciting.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. The music for that's phenomenal. Oh god, so good. So good. Yeah, that's probably the best part of that whole thing. Because that was just really neat. It was really cool. Going around doing much cool stuff. It was a real epic piece of it. But yeah, it's I don't know. Pokemon's okay. There's better stuff out there.
It's a good assessment.
You know, there's like we were gushing a little bit in the beginning here. Like Persona is just amazing, and it does a very similar thing. It scratches a very similar.
I don't think. Oh, maybe for you. Like trying to play through this game, I have no interest to try to collect all the Personas.
I mean, I'm not even talking collecting. I'm talking like the actual mechanics of playing rock paper scissors with monsters.
Oh, okay. Sorry, because like I do want to catch all the Pokemon. Like that drive is there to play through that. Like Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon are the first ones that I actually really felt a drive to complete the Pokedex.
Interesting.
Because like in I did back in like Silver. I wanted to do it because it was an accomplishable feat or whatever. But part of the little like quality of life stuff that they did for like catching a new Pokemon in like they make it feel like an accomplishment in Sun and Moon because they have the little like new entry thing along the bottom and like the big colorful splash.
Oh,
and then like bringing up the entry.
That always takes way too long.
Oh, but that is the.
I wish they would. I wish they would only do it for legendaries because doing it for every single one takes way too long. Especially when you just do a trade or something just evolves.
Maybe,
it's like, oh my god, dude! I'm just trying to move on.
That is my favorite thing that they added in those games. Like I legitimately think that turned catching all the Pokemon from something that I don't know, maybe I'll do into this is actually something worth doing. Like it adds an accomplishment on each one as compared to like I would have just petered out otherwise. I legitimately enjoy.
I guess I'm different with that because I just enjoy it. I've been enjoying it consistently since Gen 4. I've done it every single time.
Yeah.
So like I don't
think I've ever completed the main Pokedex.
I completed in at least. I would have completed it in Sun and Moon, but I didn't get the Moon Pokemon, the box legendary. I didn't get him, but I have everything else. I have like the what do you call it? The second form of Cosmog with a rare candy ready to go to just go to a Moon game and evolve and then sent back to me and I'd have everything. But then Ultra Moon Sun came out and I was like, I don't really care too much. I can just do it in that game. So that one is almost done, whatever. And then I can get this game done. Also, original Sun and Moon not having a national Pokedex was fucking infuriating. So
did it not?
No, God, it's so fucking dumb. Sun and Moon, so bad. What
does that even mean?
There's no national Pokedex. There's no national Pokedex. Sun and Moon sucks. Ultra Moon Sun apparently has it, so that'll fix a lot of things and make me, I can actually not be like fucking pissed off while I'm doing it. I'm like, what the fuck am I working for? A regional Pokedex? Are you kidding me? Like, this is absurd. So at least this one has that. So, or apparently does. I haven't unlocked it yet because I just did the battle part of the post game. I haven't gone into that yet, but I will do that eventually. Even if it's 9 months from now. I just eventually I'm like, yeah, I'm just gonna catch every Pokemon. I just cleared up. But actually, another thing too. I don't know if this is from an update of the Pokebank. But you don't have to drag and drop everything in your Pokemon anymore. You can just link your account and then go to a thing and say update Pokedex, and it'll just update it with everything in your Pokebank, which is really nice.
That's cool.
Because it just takes an extra half hour if you have I have maybe somewhere in the range of maybe 40-ish boxes full of stuff that I just drag and drop over and over again for the 30 slot or 16 slots or whatever. Just and then I just move over and then I drop them again, and pull them up, and it just takes me an extra half hour to just put everything in my game. So just be and update, because it's just my Pokemon anyway. I don't need them to be in my box then back in the Pokebank so I can put more in the box. And it's just an extra step. So that I don't know if that was a Pokebank update or this is an Ultra Moon and Ultra Sun update. I just happened to notice it recently. And I was like, oh, that's a really nice change. I like that. So that'll just speed things up and just make it easier, because they're already mine. They're already they're just gonna stay in boxes anyway. I don't need them, or whatever. So I should just organize that Pokebank though, because holy shit, is that a nightmare? There's just old breeding fucking leftovers and just duplicates of so many Pokemon. I have fucking 4 Celebes or something just sitting around in random boxes. I'm like, I don't have to do all these. It's fucking good time though. I don't know. Pokemon Pokemon's there. At least catching Pokemon is never bad. That's always fun. So getting the Pokedex will be something I'll do eventually. It'll be a good time. Do you have anything else you want to say about Pokemon?
Not really about Pokemon. Yeah, I think we're pretty much wrapped on that.
All right. Is there anything else you want to go over?
Oh, so thing that Mike is actually getting into, and I'm super into, that I feel like I should relay to you if he hasn't. Have you ever heard the Adventure Zone?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, so it's a podcast.
Okay.
That is sort of what we're doing, which is it's a live play D&D podcast.
Oh, okay.
And it's really good.
Who is anyone in it that's like?
It's the McElroys. I don't know if you know who those are.
I do not.
Well, I mean, they've done a whole bunch of stuff for Polygon. Griffin McElroy and I think Justin did Monster Factory.
Oh, okay. I don't think I know who they are. I don't think.
Oh, okay. Well, Monster Factory was the a series where pretty much they would go into the character creation engine of a game and break it, and then play through that. Play through the game with that character.
Did they do Spore?
Yes.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
There's a supercut somewhere called Griffin getting increasingly angry at Spore.
That's fair. That game is not good.
I loved it when I played it. Like, it's not what they said it was.
No, it was not. It certainly was not.
I feel like it's a lot like No Man's Sky, where like, yeah, no, it is not the game they were advertising, but it's still not a bad game.
Well, I don't know. You play for like maybe 4 hours of like on the planet, and then you go to space, and it's like, and nothing's happening, and it's the worst. But I had these cool, muscly pig people.
I feel like, yeah, them having it not have like a simple ending was a bad call.
Yeah, it was just kind of like, and now you are the space. I'm like, I don't.
Yeah, no, they should have had like, you go to space, you meet a person, you like play a round of asteroids, and then it's over.
Yeah, like I never like once I got to space, I was like, this is like it comes back. Like I was talking to someone about like horde modes, and like I don't like the Call of Duty one where it's like the zombies where it doesn't have an ending, but like Gears of War did. I'm like, I just like to know that there's a goal I'm reaching for, even if it's like once I got to space, I was like, I guess I just do this infinite, like for no reason. Like what?
I do space things now.
Yeah, I guess like I don't have an objective. It felt weird, so I just never like clicked with it. But what you gonna do, Spore? That's pretty funny though. He just like fucking loses in Spore because I can relate. Spore.
Yeah. But no, so they're just a group of funny people. The Adventure Zone is the three McElroy brothers, who also do a podcast called My Brother and Me.
That's funny. It's a good name.
Which you might have heard of.
I have not.
Yeah.
That's a good name.
Okay. So yeah, it's the three of them, and actually their dad.
Oh, it's adorable.
Who was a radio host back in the day.
That's cool.
So, like, they're pretty good on the air.
Mm-hmm.
And then they're just, like, they've done the game, just going forward, playing from start to finish. And, like, it starts with them trying to do a module.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's The Lost Minds of Phandelver.
Okay.
But by, like, the second or third episode, it has gone completely off the rails. Because Griffin's just like, all right, fuck it. This is my story now. Which is good. Like, he's the DM, and, like, he decided to, like, make it his own thing. Mm-hmm. And then by the end of the first arc, you have, like, a vague idea of what it's gonna be. Mm-hmm. And the thing that I like so much about it is an upward climb.
Okay.
There isn't, like, oh yeah, this part in the middle was bad. It's like, the first part is okay. And as it goes, it gets better.
Okay. That's always good.
The whole way through. That's almost never the case.
Yeah, and is it over?
What people think of as the Adventure Zone, which is actually like the balance arc or whatever, is over. Like the three main characters have wrapped up.
Okay.
That is it. And they are going on to other projects under that podcast name.
Oh, okay.
Like they did one that was using the superhero Fate Core system. They're trying one next that's using Monster of the Week.
Okay, that's cool.
But like the D&D campaign is over. But yeah, no, there are two things that like really stand out to me about it. One of it is that the music is actually really good. Like, they just add in some music that apparently Griffin wrote.
That's cool.
Which is, like, really enjoyable. Actually, the reason that it came up was because I was looking through my history of, like, what I've been listening to.
Yeah.
And, like, 3 of the songs are remixes from the Adventure Zone.
That's cool.
And then secondly, Griffin, although personally I think he's kind of a mediocre dungeon master, is a phenomenal storyteller.
Okay.
So since he got players that kind of like lined up with what needed to happen, he ends up telling a really awesome story through his campaign.
That's awesome.
It's one of those things that, like, I never would have been able to do that with, like, for example, our college group.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Because I know, like, when I went to box text, you would, like, cut me off before I finished the room.
Yeah. Yeah, it was my bad.
That's fine. But, like, it's just like that's how people played. As compared to him who would, like, go on 3-minute tangents. Which makes for a great story, but, like, unless you luck out with your players, it could ruin a game.
Right, that makes sense. I mean, I get that.
And, like, also, he had never DM'd before this game. So, like, as someone who I've done this for years, like, I can see the cracks.
Right.
Like, I'm spotting the, like, oh, you're new to this. That's why that happened.
That's funny. Huh.
But, like, no, I really do enjoy the Adventure Zone. And it's done a lot of stuff that I don't really see attempted in some other media.
Right, okay. I've never even heard of it. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, no, it was going on for the last 2-3 years, I think. It ended over the summer.
Okay. The one campaign?
And Twitter lost its shit, yeah.
That's awesome. I've never even heard of these people. That's pretty cool. That's so crazy. That's, like, what the internet has become. Like, you can just be, like a big deal, and, like, I could just have never heard of you. Like,
yeah.
That's pretty cool. Huh. So that's kind of the goal towards... I guess we could plug here, I guess, right? You want to do that?
Oh, yeah, sure. If you want to, go ahead. Talk about it.
So, yeah, we're going to do a campaign and put it on as a podcast. That's the idea is, right?
That's what we're currently thinking. Blah, blah, blah. That is currently what we're planning on, yes.
All right, cool. Yeah, that should be fun. From what I've seen of that world, it looks really good. Like, you seem to have done a really good job making a real world. I know, like, Mike and I were talking about treating it a little more seriously and not doing, like, a college group thing where you're, like...
That's the hope.
I try to fucking...
There's a lot there, and if it goes off the rails, that's fine. Like, I do have plans for, like, if you could do literally anything. It's very much a sandbox.
Okay.
But as long as you play it, like, engage with the world like it's the world, because I'm not going to be, like, pulling punches.
Yeah.
Something that I was going to bring up in session 0, but I feel like is kind of fun to bring up now, is if you wander off and piss somebody off, they might just kill you. And we'll deal with the fallout on that as it comes, but, like, I'm not gonna, like, just give you plot armor, because that makes the story really boring.
Right, yeah. Yeah, I don't want to do, like, what I did in college again, like the AST thing, and just kind of, like, just, you know, whatever I want to do, fuck it, why not? Like, just, you know, whatever. Like, that was fun, but, like, I'd rather... I guess it...
you can tell a story now.
Yeah, you can tell a story, and I feel like that kind of taints a campaign if, like, everyone else tries to do something like that, but, like, they're not... I don't know. It just doesn't work out. Like, not everyone has the... I don't even think I was necessarily good at, like, improvising that, but, like, not everyone else is even, like... Some people can kind of, like, try it, and, like, they... I don't know. It doesn't always work out. Sometimes it gets kind of, like, where everyone's trying to fight for, like, the... I don't know what you'd call that. The...
Spotlight.
I guess the spotlight, yeah. And try to, like... be like, oh, okay, it's the campaign we're doing, all right, and, like, you know, it becomes a pissing contest, and I don't really want to do that, so just kind of treat it more seriously, and, like I was talking to Mike, like, kind of what spawned this whole thing, and the reason Mike brought this up to me, was I was telling him, I was like, we were talking about, like, WoW or something, it was or MMOs in general, but I was like, you don't understand, the most fun I've ever had in any video game was the first time I played WoW, and there was, like, 9 of us. And we would all get on at different times, and we'd just play together, and then we'd come back to school and be like, yo, I went to this area, and, like, this totally fucking happened. I'm like, oh my god, it's so cool. And, like, just, like, all, like, you know, adventure tales, and, like, talking about different stuff we would do, and then be like, yo, and want to all get on at, like, 8, and we'll go do, like, this one dungeon, and, like, dungeons back in, like, old WoW were, like, wicked big, so they take you a whole bunch, and, like, you know, we're all new, we don't know what we're doing, so it takes us a long time to do a dungeon. We're like, wow, this is so crazy, I can't even imagine what raids are like, and, like, stuff like that. And it was just, like, you know, just... everything was fucking new, everything was wonderful, but like everyone was experiencing that new thing together as like this huge group, and I was like, you don't understand, like that was the best time to ever, like no game will ever beat that. And he's like, I want to do a D&D campaign. I'm like, yeah, I guess I could try for that too, like that'd be kind of cool too. That'd be like a good way to do it as well. And he's like, you know what, you should read Nick's setting, and I did, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. So that kind of how this whole thing started. So
I'm glad that works for you, because I think I can pull that off. Like, there is that kind of stuff in the world. Like, there's a lot going on. So if you just go run off and find it, like, pretty much what I'm doing with this campaign is I have things happening in the world that are, like, important, but they might not be important to you.
Right, yeah.
So it depends on if you, like, come across them. Like, if you happen to stumble across someone or something that grabs your interest in a big enough way that you start putting yourself down that path. Because, like, once you come into a conflict path with something of, like, ground-shaking proportions, then, yeah, I'll be dialing it into that. But the difference between what I'm doing and what the Adventure Zone's doing, or did, is that I'm very much creating this world and then finding out what this story is about. Like, I have a whole bunch of potential hooks, and there's one that I hope you decide to go down the path of.
Okay.
But, like, even if you go down that path, I don't know exactly how it's going, like, what that process is gonna look like. While with the Adventure Zone, Griffin pretty much wrote a book after the first arc that was the rest of the campaign.
Okay. Yeah, like, I kind of just want to experience a story, so, like, I don't really want to, like, when we were in college and I played Ast, my goal was to, like, I was looking more to, like, take the reins and then just, you just kind of let me go and, like, would do whatever you wanted to do, and then whatever other things would happen around it. But I think I'd rather just play more of a passive role for this. I think that'll be good, because I just kind of want to see.
If that's the way you want to do it, then I will make.
Because I just want to.
I will make the hooks come to you.
Because I want to see it more be like. I mean, I'll take hooks and whatever, but like I don't want to.
Well, that's what I mean. But I'll put them in front of you as compared to just
I'm not
waiting for you to wander.
Yeah, like I'm not. I mean, if you know, if you set it up where it's like, all right, what do you do, and we just pick to walk, like I'll do something like that. But like I don't want to like I'm not looking to break a wall down. Like that's I'm not gonna try to disrupt the core. At least that's kind of what I want to try to. Because I want to play a more, like, serious, focused, like... And, like, you design this world in a way that's actually kind of cool and, like, has, like you said, things going on. So, like, I'd rather kind of just see where that all ends up and how things work and all that kind of stuff. So, just figure all that out. It seems interesting.
I am glad to have a group that isn't just going to, like, wander off into the woods after dark looking for trouble for the sake of looking for trouble.
Yeah, like, I don't know. I feel like doing that is fun, like, initially, and then it loses the fun because, like, quickly. It just kind of burns out. Like, it's like, oh, this is really cool. Let's try to do this. And, like, it's not fun to be doing that, and then the DM is like, fuck you, you're doing my story. And it's like, but it's also, like, I feel like if you're not letting the story happen, the players that kind of want the story to happen lose interest. So it's like, I'm just going to be like, I want to just try to have it.
That was the major conflict between you and Cassandra.
Yeah.
That, like, they wanted to, like, progress down the storyline, and you're like, I'm gonna go do a thing.
Yeah. Right, yeah.
And if that's not, if you don't line up on that, it creates tension. I'm hoping Fred's on board. He hasn't really been as communicative because he's been busy.
Yeah. Yeah, he had to travel a bunch this holiday season, so probably soon.
I'm hoping that Session 0 clears up some of that.
Yeah, probably. That seems about right. Because, I honestly, the one thing I really fucking hate about D&D campaigns is character building. There's just so much. There's so much information.
That's also what Session 0 is for.
Like
We're just going to sit down and go through everything.
That's what I was hoping for. Because, like, when people are like, oh, make a character, I'm like, all right, I'm quitting this game. I'm not fucking... There's just so much. Like,
5th edition is so much easier than 4th.
Okay.
Like, 4th edition, you had to, like, go through... Honestly, in 4th edition, I found it almost impossible to make a character without that online tool.
Right, yeah. Eventually, I just used that.
You were digging through so many, like, powers and feats and all that kind of... It was a mess.
It's so much. It's so overwhelming.
Yeah. As compared to this, you pretty much just pick a path and go down it, and then you're just picking, like, what skills do you want?
Okay, that's...
Alright, neat. Dude, you get a feat because you're human. Here's the list.
Okay, that's, like, way easier.
Yeah.
Like, just, yeah, it was just so overwhelming.
Like, if you're jumping into building a high-level character, it gets complicated, but, like, at level 3, you don't really have a whole lot. And at any given level, you don't have a whole lot.
Mm-hmm.
It just kind of, like, compiles. So if you're gonna, like, I'm gonna make a level 10 spellcaster, then you just look at the stuff you have to write down, it's like, holy shit.
Okay, that makes, yeah.
I'm sorry, wizards have how many spells?
Yeah, dude, it's, yeah, like, I was, like, kind of, like, when we played, like, consistently, I was, like, so glad I was, like, just a fighter. I was like, this is, there's so much, and, like, yeah, it's just so much. There's so much flavor to it, too, where it's like, what god is your thing? And da-da-da, and it's like, oh my god, I don't know. So much.
In this setting, the gods do not matter unless you're particularly faithful.
Okay. That's helpful.
So, like, if you want to be devoted to a god, pick one.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't,
oh well.
Okay.
Yeah.
It is legitimately more important when your birthday is than that.
Oh, okay. Perfect. That's way easier.
And, like, the birthday could just be like, all right, here, you can either pick a point on this calendar or we can roll for it.
That's cool that you put a calendar together, too. I always like fictional calendars.
I still need to name the months, but otherwise I'm pretty much good to go on that.
I built a calendar once when I was doing something. Because, like, I always think it's weird when, like, fantasy universes have, like, a Monday. It's like...
I am having the same names of the days of the week.
Okay.
Because, it's set on the British Isles, pretty much.
Oh, okay,
like,
right.
The mythos and stuff is based on that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. So, like, there would still be a Thor's Day.
Okay, right, okay. That makes sense.
And so I could tweak them a little bit to go, like, a little closer back to their roots, or I could just leave them being comprehensible.
Right, yeah, that makes sense, yeah.
But yeah, no, there's only 8 months. There's 7 weeks in a month.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, that kind of stuff's kind of cool, where it's like, yeah, like, you know, the way time would work, or, like, seasons and stuff like that, like, that would be different in a fantasy world. Like, there's no reason for it to be, you know. So I'm glad that you actually built a calendar. I think that's pretty cool. Like, I learned so much about calendars. So I was like, I'm gonna build a calendar, and I was like, holy shit, there's so much here. This is pretty cool. Yeah.
I am looking forward to finding out when we're starting in lore. Mm-hmm. Like, because I'm gonna give you guys the option, and then if not, we can roll for it.
Okay.
And depending on where that lands, that can put entire factions in or out of power.
How much of the history do you have, like, mapped out?
Oh, not a whole lot.
Oh, okay.
Like, I have something that happened a few months ago, which you know about, but please don't spoil it on air.
Right, yep, okay.
And then I have, pretty much the 4 courts. That there is a summer court, a winter court, an autumn court, and a spring court of the fairy.
Right.
And so they have a cycle of power. So depending on what season it is who's in charge, who is, like, powering up, who is, like, petering out.
Mm-hmm. Okay, that makes sense. That's cool. That's really, I do like that too, the court system. Yeah. That's pretty cool.
And it also makes parts of the world either safe or dangerous to be in.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
Like, if you're gonna go to the awful ice caps part of the world, do it in summer.
Right, yeah. Well, it seems like it's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's going to be kind of cool to actually kind of take a more serious approach. And, you know, no one so far seems to be like they're going to play, like, the edgy character or, like, super bombastic. Everyone seems like they're going to try to be grounded in reality, which I think will be really, really cool.
Got a paladin, a pit fighter, and a barbarian that worked on a ship.
Yep, I think it'll be pretty cool. Seems like it'll be pretty cool. And I kind of like the idea that we're all just kind of like the tough guys. Just kind of run through some stuff. Yeah. It's going to be pretty neat.
The burly boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like none of you are, like, really 100% motivated in such a way that I can't just be like, this is something that's a generally morally good thing to do and might pay.
Right, yeah.
Or will you do it? And then everyone seems like they would say yes, as compared to, like, oh, I would never work for money, or like that
right,
type of thing.
Yeah. That is good. Yeah, like, yeah, another thing, too, that seems nice about this is, I mean, I don't know everything about Fred's character, but it seems that everyone is kind of, on the same general idea of what do you call it? Like chaotic good, neutral thing like that.
Oh, alignment.
Yeah. So everyone seems like they're generally in the same alignment.
They're all good aligned.
Yeah, whereas opposed to like, everyone's like good aligned and then fucking, like chaotic evil and you're like, the fuck? Why are you here? Like,
why are you here?
Yeah, like how would this person even end up in a part like this? So that seems like it's already in a good step in a good right direction where it's like, all right, everyone's at least generally has a similar idea of how things work. All right, cool. Like, it's not insane or anything like that. So
I'm curious to see which vow Fred picked, and also, because the way paladins work, both normally and specifically in my setting, is that you pick an oath, which is like pretty much their subclass. So you could be like an oath of protection or an oath of vengeance or that type of thing. But I am, since paladin magic comes specifically from their oath, I am having him pick his terms.
Okay, that's interesting.
Like actually writing down what his oath was.
Oh, that's really cool. That's pretty neat.
Yeah. And then, like,
cool
I can give him an advantage, like, while he's acting to help his oath.
Right, okay.
For example.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. So it should be pretty fun to do. Yeah, I think we should wrap up by now. This will be a bit of a hectic one to edit, but this is good.
My apologies.
No, it's fine. I can't shut up either. Yeah, this is this is good.
It's just a rambly kind of night.
Yeah, this is good. I fucking glad I get to say everything I felt about Pokemon. I hope you feel cleared up.
Yep. And honestly, I just miss talking to you, dude.
Same. Yeah, and God bless the death of Anime Strike.
I had heard that you started the My Hero Academia anime.
I did. It's really fucking good. It's good. It's really good. Like, I mean, My Hero Academia is just amazing. Like, overall, I think it's just really well done. And, like, it just adds music and emotion to it. So it's just, like, it's just great. Yeah. Like, it's really cool. I fucking, like, tear up every fucking time I see, or I hear,
You say run.
I'm like, oh, fucking, let's go.
Yeah.
This is amazing. Yeah, I just like it. I love it a lot. I haven't gotten, I'm, like, right up to, like, where you were at New Year's, that the Numo fight, the first one. Gotcha, so I'm like right there. So like I think that's like the endish of season 1 or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just really good. It's a lot of fun to fucking.
God, that was that one episode is so hype.
Yeah, dude. That's the whole thing is like, that series is amazing when they're being superheroes, and I don't really like it as much when they're being kids. And then as once Deku gets like a grasp on his power, it gets even better. And so like the very beginning is a little rocky, and so like if like I know, like I was talking to my cousin and she was like, it's not, I don't really get it. I'm like, trust me, I had a problem when it first started too. I was like, I don't really understand like what the whole hype is. Like, this is all right, whatever. But it gets really fucking great. It does some really fucking cool things. And when it starts to really like when Deku actually starts to really understand his power, and he goes through that training where he's like, oh my god, I totally get it now, and like with Gran Torino and all that stuff, and just does all that kind of stuff, and like learns what to do and becomes a little more competent and does all this stuff. And then the villains are amazing in the series, and so like it's just everything works really well together. And when they're off being superheroes and dealing with the villain alliance, or the villain alliance, is you see them scheming something like, oh, I wonder what that's gonna do, and then some of it like bleeds into the hero stuff, like, oh, this is so cool. So like when that does, it's fucking choice. And what this third season's going to be, so in April, is going to be what season 3 is going to be is the reason I started watching the anime, because what is covered in what I assume will be season 3 is unbelievable. It is so good.
That's exciting.
It is so good. I was like, I need to watch it. I need to watch it in action, so I'm just going to watch the whole anime too, because I fucking love what they do at the end of what I assume is season 3. I don't know exactly where it's going to cut off, but the area it should cover is going to be really, really good. So shout out to that. I think it's like April 18th. I think it comes back.
Exciting.
I think it's like
that's gonna be a fun week.
It's like mid-ish April, I believe. Yeah. So
because April 13th is the probably the next episode of Hive Swap.
Dope.
And then also they're putting out the hardcover books for Homestuck.
Oh, nice. That's cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So that should be some fun stuff happening.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's one of those things that they haven't technically announced a release date yet, but they said in spring, and they have a countdown of other things that they haven't really said is a countdown, but we'll wrap up at around about then.
Right. Yeah. Now that'll be pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Didn't know they're doing hardcovers. That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
They're pretty much putting out the books with like author's commentary and stuff.
That's awesome.
Oh, one last thing about My Hero Academia before we completely wrap up.
Sure.
The thing that sold me on watching the anime explicitly, like doing that instead of reading the manga or maybe reading the manga later or whatever, is actually, I don't know if you've seen it yet. Have you gotten to any of the filler episodes? I think there's only like one or two.
No, everything's pretty much the same right now.
So, there is a filler episode a little later that is, it's right, it's during the internship, so that's still a little ways away for you.
Yep.
But, when you get there, we have to talk about that because there are so many little things in that episode that just made me like, this is going to be a really good show. Like, as a show, not just as a, like, interpretation of a different medium.
No, yeah, it's just really good. It just doesn't, it's, you know, even something as stupid as a tournament arc is, like, actually pretty cool. You know, like, even though it's, like, tired and been done before, the tournament arc of this series is really neat. Like, I get the concept. It's just to show off everyone's powers and, like, it fucking works. But they also make it emotionally meaningful because characters, you know, fucking grow and they use their powers in different ways and that kind of stuff. And, like, it's really cool. It's not just a showcase, but also a place for character development. So they just do a good job. The fact that different characters are drawn in different comic book styles, like All Might is drawn like an older superhero, and Stain is drawn like a 90s superhero, like, that's just brilliant stuff. It's just super fucking cool.
Just cohabitating.
Yeah, it's like, this is awesome. That, like, they're like, everyone kind of just does a different thing. Like, you know, it's very well done. And the fact that this is just it moving and with some of the best music I've heard in anime ever is just like a bonus. Yeah.
One of my favorite little things about Stain's design specifically is, like, you know how his tongue's all fucked?
Yeah.
It's because he's constantly licking knives.
Right, yeah.
Like, that would probably do it.
Yeah, it's just really well done. Like, it's just, I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan.
Has my weird lighting pet peeve, have you noticed it?
No, I don't know if it's come up yet. I don't know.
No, it happens constantly. You would have seen it before now.
I don't know.
It's whenever there's like an impactful shot, they just make everything darker.
I only really noticed it in that one scene you showed me, which is weird, but otherwise I think it seemingly fits. Maybe that was just them.
Well, then I am happy. That must just be
Maybe
me.
it was just them overreaching.
I do notice it pretty. No, it wasn't just that one scene. Like,
I'm saying like that one scene may have just been them like, yeah, let's try it here, and it just didn't work. Because I didn't notice it in the stuff I've watched so far. I've watched like maybe 9-ish episodes. So.
I mean, it was in the All Might Nomu fight.
It was in what?
It was in the All Might Nomu fight.
I haven't watched that yet. I'm up to that fight.
Oh.
That's what I'm saying.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
All right,
I haven't
mind.
watched that fight yet. That's the next episode.
I'm pretty sure they use it in other stuff too, but
okay,
maybe not.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. I don't know, but like, yeah, I've been enjoying it. I think it's pretty fucking cool. It's just a good series. Right. They just do things right over there.
Good to know that I'm just a crazy person.
But yeah, I like it a lot. It's really, really fucking cool. I'm glad the anime is just good too. I'm glad that like it's a good adaptation.
Yeah, they definitely put a lot of love into it, which is nice to see.
Yeah, and like, you know, I fucking, you know, I also look forward to actually watching Made in Abyss and it not being fucking bogged down by fucking being creepy. So that'll be great. Because yeah, everyone's marking it as like the anime of the year. It's like the best thing to come out in 2017. Everyone's like, oh my god, this is so cool. Really? Yeah, people like. I watched a couple of things. I was like, okay, the core of this is amazing. Everyone's saying the anime is amazing. We watched some videos of people selling me on this, and then they were like breaking it down, and like some of the stuff that's not even like I didn't really like. It wasn't apparent in the manga where like the pit, like the abyss like draws you to it. Like that's like kind of a part of it, and like that's never really explicit in the manga. I don't know if it's explicit in the anime, and this guy was just like interpreting it that way. But like I was like, that is way more interesting. That like there's the reason they go down there is because they feel compelled. As opposed to like, this is our job and we want adventure. It was like more like a force being like, no, come down here, do this. And like, oh, that's a way cooler idea. And like, just like the pacing seems way better. Like literally not being fucking forever before they enter the fucking hole and we just talk about nonsense and like stop talking. Oh my god, why is this fucking intro so long? And if they bring it down to 3 episodes as opposed to fucking like, I think it's like 7 or 8 chapters. Because the first time I read it, I got to like chapter like 8-ish and I was like, I'm done. This is fucking so boring because they weren't even in the fucking hole yet. And they finally got back to the abyss and I was like, okay, this is a little more interesting. And then And then I was almost done, and then something real, and it went from like really kind of whatever to fucking graphic as hell, and I was like, oh my god, like I'm gonna throw up, like this is so gross. But like in a way that was like, these are children in a fucking death hole. Of course this would fucking happen. Like this makes sense. So I was like, oh, okay, like thematically this is fair. But then like at one point they had to like. It doesn't matter. I'm not gonna get into it because I don't want to. It's kind of spoiler-ishy, so I'll get into it. But like, it was like, right. It was a thing that was kind of tainted by like the author being kind of creepy, and it was like, yeah, it would make sense that you'd have to do this, but like,
why are you putting it on screen?
Well, like, no, it would make sense. You can mention it and do all that kind of stuff, but is the reason that like because you've had all this history of you being creepy with these characters. Now this moment that should be really like, oh my god, that's terrible, is like also like kind of bogged down by a tinge of like. But also, you're a creep. Like, are you making this thing, like the fact that you have to like take her clothes off because she's sick, like, and like, you know, there's, you know, she's like, you know, there's like blood and like piss involved, like, you know, she's sick. She's been like really damaged. Like, this has been a bad traumatic experience. But the fact you have to take her clothes off, is that because you're creepy or because like, no, like in a normal thing of fiction, it'd be like, oh my god, this is horrible. Like, this little girl is fucked right up, but you've already had her naked like 5 times, and it's like what part, like. What is really emotional, like kind of creepy and like or like scary, like oh my god, she can be okay, is now like also like, but is it only because you're weird? Like it's that kind of thing. So like, like it
I feel
what
that.
should be more emotional loses it because he's such a weirdo and such a creepy guy, and it's like fuck.
It's interesting. Like I knew that it was like generally being regarded as good, but I didn't think it was like the anime of the year. But only because I had heard so many good things about both. Inuyashiki and Ancient Magus Bride.
I don't even know what either of those are.
Oh wow, okay. Inuyashiki is the next thing by the guy who did Gantz.
Oh, okay. That's kind of, is it fucking graphic too?
Yes. Okay. But apparently slightly more reserved.
Okay.
General plot is old man is dying and aliens accidentally make him robot.
Oh, I have seen that. That looked. I was not. From what I have seen of that, I'm not on board.
Yeah. Well, apparently it's really, really good.
Yeah. It was a little too silly.
That's totally fair. And then the other one, the Ancient Magus Bride, is like you've probably seen stuff of it. Like it's this like big skeleton man.
Oh yeah, much. I have. He's yeah. Okay. I did see that. I always think it's Overlord, and I'm like, whatever. I just never like paying attention to it. It's okay. I know exactly what that is.
Yeah, apparently it is like 10 out of 10.
Okay. Interesting.
I have never heard anyone like speak poorly of it in the long run. I've heard a lot of people be like, oh, the first couple episodes made me nervous, but like, as a whole, it seems like everyone who's seen it has a high opinion of it. I haven't seen it, so I don't really know myself, but like...
Yeah. Like, it's a cool, it seems kind of cool. I definitely would probably give it a shot. Yeah. I just haven't really done it much, and like, I just been enjoying what I've been taking in. I was hoping that season 2 of One Punch Man would come out eventually, but that's fucking in development hell, so who the fuck knows? Hopefully that's not, the second season's not bad. It's getting like a full rehaul, like new studio, new director, like, gee, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
There's a bunch of stuff floating in like in between season limbo that I kind of wonder if more is coming or not. Like heck, Voltron. I honestly don't know. I had heard that there was some question on whether we're getting a season. I guess we're on 5 now.
Oh,
I lost track to be honest.
Maybe I don't know. I don't follow that too much. I know it's pretty popular though. It seems cool.
It's good. It is surprisingly good. I was
cool.
not expecting much from it, and it did really well.
It seems really cool. I haven't watched it. Every time I'm on Netflix, I'm like, oh, I should set aside some time and watch that, and just never do. It does seem kind of neat.
It's a really good thing to watch when you're doing other things, because like it isn't hyper detail intensive or like in another language that requires you to read subtitles.
Right, yeah.
So like it's good. Like it's good. Like waiting for Final Fantasy cues to pop type thing.
Right. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah, I should probably do that. I have the second monitor.
I don't remember which game it was that I was playing when I was watching some of it. But I do remember that parts of the third season had me put it down. Just like, okay, time to pause and tune into this. I'm sorry, what?
That's cool. I should do that. Because I like the way it looks. So I've always been like, I should watch that. I just haven't. DreamWorks, I think. Which I don't know if they've done. Have they had television before? That's irrelevant. All right, we should probably definitely wrap this up now. We've gone way too far.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Have a nice night.
Yeah. So thanks for coming by.
Anytime.
So with that, this is the end. Love and kisses.